How about now? Yvonne, are you hearing me? Hello, testing, 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 testing. Yvonne, can you hear me? Testing. Okay, great. How does it sound? Can you answer in the thread? Okay. Does it sound? Oh. Is my voice coming through clearly in the stream? Testing. A little noisy. Okay. Well, you hear me? Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay. It's a little noisy. We'll bring down the volume so it can be clear. How about now, Yvonne? Is it better? Is it better? Testing, testing, testing. It should be a little lower. Testing, testing. Yeah, yeah. I definitely heard that.
Probably on. Let's see if we can. We have here reduce mic background.
Yeah, I just did that.
Oh, we have auto adjust mic volume. Probably just
Yeah.
try that. I should I think I'm just gonna get my laptop.
Okay. Talking now. Conversation. Okay, but I brought down the volume, Yvonne. How does it sound now? It should be a little clearer. Testing, testing. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Like now, okay. Is it? How about now? Is it good now? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, great. We're good to go.
Sounds good. All right, perfect. Saturdays with Renee. Something like that. You can ask that. About about the music. Huh? What about the music? Can you it would be so much better if it went to. They told me not to do it. Okay, to they'll leave get it demonetized. If they, so. So how do we add this? Should just be.
I take you off.
5 days you work, 1 whole day to play. Come on everybody, wear your roller skates today. It's Saturday, 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 it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday,
Saturday with Renee.
See? What's gonna happen?
With Renee, why is that playing again? There we go, my bad. First of all, welcome to episode 128 consecutively of Saturdays with Renee on Black Liberation Media, featuring Renee Johnston. I'm Jared Ball, special guest Geechee, y'all, and Mtume Gant. We got Dr. Todd Stephen Burrows. We got Hiram Rivera, other superstars and all-stars, PSL. Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome to Newark. Thank you all very much. Peace. Welcome. Listen. There we go.
So I'm assuming that
I think we're frozen.
No, we frozen. No, we're not frozen.
We're frozen.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Look, you causing confusion. We can't do nothing. But so I really appreciate there folks in the room. I appreciate folks coming out. She's gonna be mad at me, but my lifelong friend and my son's my son's godmother's in the room, my nephew. So these are the little things in life. Like, this was not a plan. This was not like I say it all the time. Like, the show was not on my bingo card for life. Like, doing a pod, this was not the plan. But when Jared invited me, I said yes. And it's been like 2.5 years and we're still going. So obviously it has worked for some people. Although I still get surprised, I think, when people be like, oh, I watched the show. I'm like, y'all really be paying me any mind? Like, I just be yammering about stuff with my spreadsheets, but whatever. It's all
An award-winning journalist.
fair enough.
Clap for that one. Clap for that one.
But I really appreciate folks coming out. I appreciate that we decided to do this. Happy belated birthday to Mtume.
Yeah.
Oh, thank y'all.
Thank
Thank y'all.
And that was actually that was the kickoff of.
Well, I wanted to hang out with them, so this is what I manufactured. You know?
He was like, well, my birthday's on the 11th. So I was like, I mean, sure. Like, if y'all gonna come to Newark, because I only got to drive 15 minutes. So like, I was like, he got on a train, he got on a plane. I'm like, as long as y'all coming, I'm good. So I appreciate it. So I assume if folks in the chat couldn't hear us, we'd know by now.
Yeah,
right?
no, the chat is live and direct, doing quite well, undefeated as always. And good to see folks. The all-stars are all there as well. Samantha and Chitty Macha and Brittany and Steven. And so salute to everybody. Thank you all very much. And again, thanks to everybody who was able to join us here today. It's beautiful to see people in person. And this is dope. It's good to be back in Newark too.
There's food, because I don't believe in bringing anybody to a space without food, because I don't like to go to spaces without food.
And good coffee too.
The coffee is good.
Vegan scones.
Yeah. Shout out to the vegans in the building. Yes.
Listen,
Yes.
The request was made. The best part is, like, for real. So we've been at this for 2.5 years, right? So you would think that by now, at the least, Jared would know that I don't fuck around with stuff, right? Like, if I say we're gonna do something, we are going to do something. And so all it really was okay, where are we gonna, like, where can we make it happen? Where's the space? So shout out to CMC, Yvonne. At some point, we'll bring them up so they can let you all know, like, what they do in this space. This is a phenomenal space. I've been here for a bunch of different things, all kinds of events. They got studios, they rent out to artists, they do all kinds of things up here. So I appreciate y'all for letting us steal the room for a little while.
And the setup is magnificent. I was joking. I was underprepared for how much they're prepared. So I had to catch up to their level of operational tempo, as some say. This was wild. So yeah, so salute. Thank you very much.
What you had in that bag though?
Huh?
What you had in your bag?
I had the power strip. I thought I was doing something with the portable Ethernet cord. I thought we might need. I had a mic. I thought I was trying to help out, and they were like, "Please, son, take your little bag and sit down.
Hey,
Go get a cup of coffee.
Hey.
Just sit
you look sad too though. You look kind of sad.
I mean, I wanted
He
to.
thought he was gonna help.
I want to
I'm
feel
gonna help.
useful. And they were like, just Just
Go get a cup of
go
coffee.
get a cup of
Go
coffee.
get a cup.
Eat a scone.
Eat a scone. A vegan scone and sit down. So no, we are in good hands, good company, and we do have some things to chop it up about.
There's a lot, as y'all know. There's a lot. I mean, first of all,
You gonna take your victory lap? Do you all? I know it's inappropriate. First of all, forgive me, everybody. I beg everyone's forgiveness. It's inappropriate to bring up this person's name given where this person has descended in real life, and I don't mean to diminish that. But at one point in time, the silliness of the online performance of Africana blackness, radicalness, and he went by Brother Polite. And I'm only bringing him up. He's a horrible. But the performance. There was this one performance in Harlem where he was having this debate, and he thought he won. And I've never seen anything like this. He's having his debate. He gets up and takes a victory lap. Literally got up with the mic and ran around the room talking about And I did think of that today for you, given that I don't know how long ago, a year or so ago, you called out the Target boycott nonsense, laid out what the DEI thing was actually doing and not doing. And then here we are, whatever, many months later, and the Target fast, led by Jamal Bryant and others, he's literally saying this is a victory. Getting a $2 billion concession from Target and this, that, and the third is a victory that Black people have needed, not seen since the Montgomery bus boycott victory. And he said, I'm claiming it. And I said, that's not the victory. If there's a victory in all this nonsense, it's Renee's calling out the nonsense, and it should be Renee jogging around the room. But unfortunately, the reality is that the victory is that you accurately called out that this is at best going to help a handful of the Black bourgeoisie business community, not help anybody else. And so it's sad that the victory lap you would be taking is just to remind us that we didn't really get a come up that is being promised and claimed by others. So anyway.
I am not taking a victory lap because I might not make it back to the stage, one. And two, we need like a step because y'all,
it's over here.
It's over there.
It's
I'm
on
gonna
this
be
side.
50 this year. I can't be jumping up and down on stages and stuff. That's too much. But I mean, I appreciate it because I did call it. I was like, y'all, in a year they're gonna be like, we won. We selling more Black stuff. Yay. So none of this surprises me. Like that this is the end result, that we're gonna be super excited because Target's gonna sell more things made by Black people. Like no one could be surprised by this. The worst part of it for me is, so there are two factions doing the Target strike, right? So we've got Reverend, whatever his name is.
Jamal Bryant.
There we go. There we go.
Sound. Man, this place, boy.
Oh, is that's why you needed a few minutes, right? Oh, see?
This was our fault too.
We should have, I know, but look,
be more specific. This was my fault. This was my fault. So I apologize. And thank you all for compensating.
Appreciate it. So there are two factions doing the strike. You have a group out of Minneapolis who is striking because they're mad about DEI. They're not mad about the surveillance. They're not mad about the fact that the surveillance in Minneapolis goes directly to the Minneapolis PD, but they're mad about the DEI policy. We're going to leave that right there because that's already problematic enough. Then you have Bryant, who's mad, I guess, also about the DEI thing, but probably more mad because not enough people knew his name. And so this was going to be the great reason for him to stand up and say, Black folks, I need y'all to do this thing with me right now, because this is how we are going to win capitalism. And y'all know I don't mess with capitalism. There's some wild stuff. So I did make a run sheet. Now there's unfortunately. You'll have to go back if you want to see the article. But there is an article, is it NPR? Who is it? I don't even remember. But the point of the article was to discuss these two factions that are targeting Target. One is going to continue because they're saying that they're going to sell $2 billion worth of products is not the DEI demand that they made. Cool. And the other faction wants to continue to stop it because now we've won. I don't really know how this is supposed to work. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know what exactly we win from this. I never stop shopping at Target. Why? Because Target has the cheap stuff and I get 5% off. So I didn't stop shopping at Target. That was my personal decision, mostly because there was nothing about the DEI policies at Target that was actually doing anything for the Black community. However, what I did learn in the research that time is that Target employs a massive amount of Black people to work on the floor, to stock shelves, to work in the customer service desk. So this whole we're gonna boycott Target because the DEI policies are not good made zero sense to me, because you're literally, in the end, you're taking money away from the people who are most getting something out of working at Target, which is the people who work on the floor and at the register, right? So it just didn't make sense to me. That said, Target is a terrible place, right? They were the Minneapolis Target was the starting target for surveillance within a city that shared their surveillance with the local police department. Right? They literally, right? Is it Rainbow Unicorn? What's the unicorn? Unicorn Riot. Unicorn Riot did a whole series on this and how this is where this surveillance started at this Target in Minneapolis. And so for me, that is the bigger issue. The problem, of course, is I don't know how we stop surveillance, right? Because you're all being surveilled, right? Every one of you has a phone, right? You're all being surveilled. There is no winning this situation as it is and exists right now in this moment, right? So there are plenty of things that I don't spend money on, as you know. I don't go to Dunkin' Donuts no more, to the chagrin of my son, mostly because they supported Cop City. So I figured my little 2 cents was not going to Cop City. And I felt that's enough for me, right? I know it's not going to break the bank. Dunkin' Donuts does not care that I don't buy coffee there anymore. I also don't stop. I don't Home Depot, off the list, right? But these are all personal things. So if you decide you want to stop, you want to continue to, not going to Target because you're bothered by the surveillance and you just don't want to give your money to that particular thing, then you should do that, right? But just know, boycotting Target because you're trying to make their DEI policies better when their DEI policies were never in place to do anything, and they stopped DEI for Trump, which was a lie. The DEI policy was always set to stop. It was never.
But you also pointed out one other important thing, that the DEI initiatives that Target had were only benefiting to a 3% rate those Black people at the executive level. And that they had hired fewer of those Black workers at the ground level under this so-called previously existing DEI initiative, that then once they removed Jamal Bryant and others, felt it was now necessary to raise this hue and cry and relaunch a civil rights movement to get us our first victory in 60, 70 years.
So I'm hearing all this analysis, right? And so when you said Jamal Bryant was making a name for himself, it slowed down, because I kept thinking like he was in Baltimore, and then and I was in Baltimore, he was in Baltimore, and then I think Eddie Long passed away, and Atlanta is like the mecca for. First,
Freddie Gray was killed. Which Jamal rose to his
to that.
He rose that
Yeah.
Rode on the death
and
of Freddie Gray.
they kicked him out of Baltimore for that.
They did.
Yeah. And Eddie Longo. And so the market for like black mega preachers probably is Atlanta. And so for him to jump in and kind of make a name for himself, like he had to be in front of this, that made sense. But I'm wondering, so everybody heard that Pinky from Slutty Vegan filed bankruptcy. But and we all can be like, but a large segment of the community is being tricked into like this is a good thing. Like, you know, that this is the next hustle. And that's how people are responding to it. So just if that's how people are responding to that, I'm curious with media and cultural work. I'm curious if I'm curious if we get stuck in analysis and not what most people are kind of thinking about and why people can exploit those.
I mean, one thing is interesting to me is like how many people actually knew about this thing. I mean, I was like, there was a Target fast. I did not. I missed that memo, and I'm relatively aware. I mean, I'm a little older, so I don't pay attention as much to many things. You know, I don't know the new hit track, but you know, I follow politics. You know, I should know that there's a Target fast. There's a mass mobilization. Yeah, I follow mass mobilizations. That's something that's in my life. I didn't hear about this, but it's like I mean, I said to y'all when we were texting about it, is like this inventing reality. Like they have to constantly like invent reality, and that's just business. Shout out Parenti, right? Like it's just it's like after the fact, you know, they hit a new quarter. They're like, what's gonna be our new business line? The Target fast was successful, right? And they'll make a whole bunch of reasons why, and then they'll make a narrative. And it's funny because Todd and I were just kind of talking about the archive of history, right? And we were just talking about that before, right?
And the Jesse Jackson vacancy, vacated space.
Boom,
Jamal
there.
Can now step into with this plan.
Yeah. So like they're trying to invent realities and make their own archive, right? And do these things. And it's like, it's all real but like, look, man, you know, on one level, it's I like no one knows. People don't know, you know. My mama don't. I'm gonna ask my mother. Did you know about the Target fast? And she gonna be like, "What?"
Can I? There's two things that Jamal Bryant said in his statement about this that I just want to throw out there real quick. One, he evoked Dr. King fraudulently once again, and said that this was the achievement of the silver rights that Jesse had coined. We're moving from civil to silver rights. And then he said, this is the completion of Dr. King's criticism of desegregating or integrating into a burning building and moving to a desegregated lunch counter where now no one can afford the burger. Now with this, we can afford the burger. And this is where Dr. King was explicitly saying something very, very different about the economy, capitalism, and the massive amounts of federal involvement, i.e. socialism, that would need to be marshaled to actually address these problems. Then, of course, they brought up the buying power point again. And then he said the thing that I wanted to just put on the table once again, why I think we need some clarity around things like phrases like collective or cooperative economics, Ujima, and Kwanzaa, because he said he didn't remember the principle. He just said this is the Kwanzaa principle of collective economics, getting $2 billion from Target to go to be invested into black banks, black businesses, and I don't know, small business tutorial educational courses, financial literacy stuff. Like he is completely reinventing not only the reality of today, but the history that he's claiming to be in the legacy of. It is diabolical and shameful.
It is. And I think it's important to remind people, was it 7 or 9%? Was it 9? Either 7 or 9% of Target's profit comes from Black people. Target don't care what Black people think.
But he did take credit for the $12 billion drop in their stock value.
I don't, and
which
and-
you had already
which
showed
I
already
showed
started.
long before any of this happened, right? It had nothing, like literally nothing to do with why? Because we make up somewhere between 7 and 9% of their profit, right? Like this whole idea that like we're gonna change Target is crazy, right? And this is why I always tell people, like,
I'm sorry. He said we had invited them to the cookout, and that's why we call him
I
Target.
did read that.
He said that's why they owe us. We invited them to the cookout.
I can't stand
Target.
these people. I can't stand any of them. But this is why, like, and then people get focused on this, right? So now everybody's talking about the Target boycott and whether or not this worked at Target. And no one's talking about the fact that you have to go to Target because Target shut down every single mom and pop shop in every neighborhood the minute Target moved in, right? That we've lost the sauce completely on how capitalism is ruining everything, right? Like there should be no company that is capable of having this much power over what communities do, right? So if they sell their $2 billion worth of profit that I guess Black people are all going to buy since we're worth 300, what is it, 150 billion? What is it now?
No, the Black buying power is $2 trillion,
Oh, it's $2
Renee.
trillion, my bad.
You don't feel it?
2.1.
All that freedom in here?
I mean, I feel it every time I go to the store. Like my buying power, like energy, like
Look all that
I get
power.
charged, right? The buying power.
Hey,
I'm like a Saiyan, you know. I'm like Dragon Ball Z.
Hey,
I get charged up.
let's see if we can. Let's do a crowd wave real quick.
Okay.
Let's see.
Buying power.
Ooh, look all that power.
It's so absurd, man. It's so absurd. I don't know.
So again, I just want to throw out there, as not that we in these spaces need it, but just maybe for my own cathartic therapy, that this is not what, even to be fair to the civil rights movement, this is not what they were advocating. Never mind the Black power and the more radical advancing elements of it. This is not what was the goal. This is the co-opted, corrupted goal that has been manufactured by this imposed leadership. I mean, that was the one thing, and I do remember, and I did have the benefit of some proximity to real grassroots organizers in Baltimore at the time, to see the shady fugazi effery trying to respect the space, salute to Newark.
We're not supposed to.
I don't know. I don't know. I just, once I get in public, I start to get proper.
She opening up with the grace.
So the fuckery of these false, the reinscribed leadership. When Sharpton tried to come down there and he bring Nan and all of that, and Jamal Bryant and meanwhile all the people in the community trying to do real good work who are just completely constantly erased all the time by this. Thankfully some of them were able to help the wave that ran him out, but then he just rides another wave and comes up even bigger on an even grander scale of fraudulence. It's super frustrating. And then he can say this is that Kwanzaa principle of
He doesn't know the name.
that he don't even know the name of, because to be fair to him, I don't think it's been forced to be properly defined in an appropriately radical way, so that people like this cannot be, it would be easy to call them out for standing in public and using this language as they pretend to be representing something that they're not. And then you listen to what he's saying and you read what he's saying is the victory, and it's a handout. It's a pittance of a handout from a major corporation to benefit a very, very tiny, small amount of Black people. And it's gross.
It's super gross.
But we
But
winning.
We winning. I mean, I don't know who we is.
Tamika Mallory now.
Me?
Nan.
What? Huh?
What
Yes.
happened?
Oh, wrong mic. Oh, it's not working.
Which mine?
Oh, okay. Thank you again.
Thank you. Oh,
And again, that's my fault.
oh, look at that. That sounds a lot better. Look.
Honestly.
Like I used to work in a school. I worked in schools for a long time, and I was the counselor. Like if all we do like graduation practices and stuff, and I used to work at a big school in Fairfax, Virginia, and when the kids wouldn't listen, they'd be like, Renee, you do it. So I'd step on a chair and I'd take a deep breath and I'd yell and everybody would just stop and be like, why is she yelling? And I'm like, well, y'all wasn't listening when everybody was trying to like calmly herd the cats, right? And so I've learned to
Enunciate.
yes.
Let people know.
There you go. Are we done with Target now? Since I'm not running around the room.
Oh yeah, no,
we
that
good?
was, you took your virtual lap.
I did the virtual lap. But I appreciate Jared did a nice little job of like really shouting me out as I completely obliterated this whole DEI. Because it was just I was so annoyed. I get really annoyed with false things that promise people like this is going to be the thing that makes a difference, right? None of it is going to be the thing that makes a difference until the system collapses. That'll be the thing that makes a difference. So outside of the system totally collapsing, everything is like these small steps to make you think like something's happening when nothing's actually, what Dre call it? Progressive inertia.
Who
Was that
called
it? Dre?
Oh,
Dre with
oh.
Oh, happy birthday, Dre. I don't know if he's here.
First
Today's
of all, I
his
thought
birthday.
she said Drake. I said, what?
No, you
Am I supposed to know a Drake lyric?
you think I know Dre?
That's why I was like, what's going on here? I fell into a void. My bad.
No, yeah. Progressive inertia.
Yes,
Progressive inertia. Like that feeling like you think something's happening, right? You think it's progress, but you're actually still just standing still and just moving. You're just moving, but you're not actually going anywhere. So this is life. I don't know.
So I don't know exactly what you were. What were you wanting me to say?
So
on the run sheet?
I want us
this
to
the
talk
right
about
motion?
Wale Bay for a little
Oh,
bit,
Okay.
since we're in Newark, and
Let's go.
since they just released the body cam,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So
The only, I don't know how the folks in here would see if I
I
show
don't-
it.
no, there's no.
Can we narrate?
Yeah,
I
you
don't
can
know what
narrate.
we're about to see. So
You can narrate, but you should trigger warn.
trigger warning, everybody.
Although I
So,
don't think it's super.
uh,
It's what police departments do. I don't know why we even.
Oh, so it's not showing up on here anyway.
It's not.
It's not letting me pull it up on here. Oh wait, there it is. Oh, wait, there it is. My bad. Okay, there we go.
All right. So.
All right. So what do you want to tell us in advance what we're going to see?
So this is I picked one because none of the first of all they did this whole we're releasing the body cam. Here's the link to watch the body cam. Every single link says redacted. Literally.
And I'm sorry, can we back up? What is the case being
So
discussed?
the case on Martin Luther King Day,
Mhm.
Wale Bay and his cousin were, I can't remember which area of Newark they were in. They were approached by police. There was an attempt to apprehend. I don't know why any of this they claim was happening. The police report, which as it always does, said that he was, he took off in the car. He was going to run over the police officer. He had to shoot to defend himself. He shot 5 times into the vehicle. Wale Bay was killed. His cousin was shot and harmed, but not killed. Wale Bay is the father of 2. He is a Newark resident. He had been heavily involved in the community. It is a true loss for the community and the family. And the fight has been to try and get some information. The family's been asking for the footage. For those of you who watch the show, you know that I am not a fan of body cams. They never do the thing that they're supposed to do outside of give you something traumatic to look at. It never actually brings accountability. It never actually brings anything that's going to be sufficient for the families. And worst of all, it's never going to bring the person back. Right? Like Wale Bay is never coming back to his family because of this decision that this police officer did. And when you look at the footage, which you can play now, essentially like whether he was trying to get away or not, I don't know. Oops, sorry. But like shooting into a vehicle because someone is I will never understand it, but it's gonna play.
It is playing.
Oh, it is playing.
So
Okay.
I don't hear. I'm not able to pull up sound here, so I don't know if there's sound. This is the police officer's body cam.
Yes, this is the police officer's body cam, and it does show them arriving to the scene.
So right here, just for people here, we're seeing from an officer's view from his driver's seat as he's driving and starting to now move the car.
Okay, Leah says they hear it. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, so you all will have to go back to the street. Sorry, so these are life lessons, right? Like we've never done this before.
Let's go.
Maybe we get a screen next time, and we can drag everybody back to Newark. So
yeah, why not? This is dope. We can do this again.
Look, it worked. Sorry. Look, I know. Trouble.
So I stopped myself.
So,
I was like, oh, man.
So the officer is driving now.
He's getting out of the car.
He's getting out of the car. You can take over.
He's walking towards. He sees there's two. There's already people out there. The guns already out. They're already shooting. Wow, that was okay. Wait a minute. That's
right.
It.
Right.
And now we see the van. I guess it's now coming to a stop where he's
They crashed.
shot. And now they're running towards the car. Guns out.
Stay right there. Get up.
So he just pulled up, and they were just they're already shooting. And there's people out here in the street. There's like innocent bystanders on the corner, just sitting there trying to get out the way. That's the end. All I can say is when you see from this perspective, how could this person? He would have had to already have been convinced that there is a need for this level of hostility, right?
Right.
Because there's nothing, we don't see anything happening.
And again, the footage is redacted, right? So I don't know what they pulled from the footage, right? Because there's like 5 different clips, and each one, all you see is the majority of it is the officer driving to the scene. Like that's the majority of each of these videos is whoever it is, whichever body cam it is driving to the scene. And then they get there, there's whatever commotion, but the officer who's shooting into the vehicle is not in front of the vehicle.
It looked just like the Renee Good thing, actually. It's the same angle, same thing, car not in any way threatening to run anybody over. There's no need for any of that.
No.
It did look a lot like that. And then from the perspective of this body cam, it happens. It's like you see a blurry bit of commotion. You see somebody that look like they're clearly trying to say, hold up, you don't need to, because the cop's already got the gun out and somebody's trying to say, hold up. And the cop's like, nah. And as the person's driving away, he's shooting into the car. I don't know how the chat is clear. It's misconduct. And so anybody who sees this has to be clear that this is not anything.
Well, I mean, everybody else will be clear.
I'm sorry. Correct. Thank you.
I don't know about the AG's office.
Right.
Mayor Baraka was basically like, obviously there's going to have to be an investigation. But, Todd already know how I feel about that. So this is what we're doing, right? I will say shout out CMB. They're in the corner. There was a statement written about Wally Bay, and there's information over there when you're ready. If you haven't seen the statement, to read it.
What's CMB?
Community Movement Builders out of Newark, New Jersey. Sorry, Todd. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it always seems to be 2 alternatives. It's like, this is like, they go back and they huddle and they say, well, they assess and they go, well, maybe we need to make some kind of story to defend the cops or something like that. Or they realize it is untenable. You have footage. It's like, okay, well then, yeah, they isolate them as, maybe take out real stories about how terrible they are, but then isolate those stories as bad apples, bad products, or, maybe something happened wrong within it. I remember that with Abner Louima. That was, after the Abner Louima thing. And when I grew up, they were like, after a certain point, as the stories all came out about how wild that precinct was, they were like, well, we can't do nothing with this. They realized they could not, right? But it's always an assessment to basically to keep the power.
And then they turn that into a victory too, by
Exactly.
saying
Yes.
he got rid of the bad apples
Exactly.
to show you the quality of of the institution itself.
Right.
And it's like, well, no, they are the institutional result.
Right.
So, but
it just never, it's always the same thing, right? And I really encourage people, if you have not read Alec Karakatsanis's report on body cameras, go find it, right? Because the origin of the body camera has nothing to do with police accountability. It has everything to do with cloud services and making money, right? And when they initially introduced the body cam, it was because they were going to spy to make sure that when cops turned in their time, that their time was actually for what they were supposed to be doing, right? I mean, there's a whole drama in Jersey. Didn't somebody just get caught? Somebody just got caught in Jersey with a whole bunch of overtime, like hundreds of thousands of dollars in overtime in some Jersey district somewhere. I don't even remember the story, right? But I just want to say, just real quick, I'm going to digress, y'all. The fact that they just pulled out a screen.
I'm saying, can we just clap it up for this? I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is, but you can see why somebody who's not used to this level would walk in and be completely, what the hell is going on? I'm used to, like, seriously.
Y'all need to plug.
I still got this.
I had to plug in my laptop just to make it look good. Like I was no, seriously, thank you all very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So again, Alec Karakatsanis' report is excellent because it gives you how this actually started and how they used the murder of Michael Brown in Ferguson to switch what the body cameras were going to do. Now they're going to be about accountability, and now they can sell the body cameras everywhere. And now they can sell the cloud services to store the video because that's where the real money is. And
then that was turned into a victory.
Alec Karakatsanis has a Substack.
So first of all, both of you, I think, are doing this wrong. With all due respect, what everyone should do is go to the episode. I'll find the number of Saturdays with Renee where we interviewed Alec.
That's right, we did. Yes.
And in the show description, after you've watched this wonderful conversation, you can get the link to the report and all of that.
Correct.
And the other thing that I remember learning from that is it is a masterclass in marketing, because initially they did market it. Body cams are going to help the police be even better with their jobs. It's going to be more efficient. It's going to be great. Then Mike Brown gets killed, and it's like, oh, it's going to help them be held accountable. And it's going to be, we've won another victory for the people in the streets. And then people are literally being encouraged to say, we've won. We got them wearing body cams. It's like, no, they were already wearing body cams. It just was rebranded and repurposed. And then as you also continue to show, the killings of Black people by police continues to increase year after year after year after year. So cam, no cam, cam for cops, cam for the people. It ends up with the more police killing Black people.
Right. Nothing changes on that end. Nothing. Except now you get to watch it from the cop's point of view, who's learned, by the way, to yell, right? To say don't resist, to say stop moving, to say all the things because they can jiggle and make it look like, whatever's happening is happening and we got to do something and I was in danger. I didn't have, I've never seen a scarier set of people who are allowed to carry around weapons. I don't even know, they scared of everything. And I don't even understand, how did we get to this place where the people who are most afraid of everything are least capable of managing themselves when they're in fear? And it's absurd. So it's absurd.
So, I think that's, and I keep pointing back to propaganda, but and this, some of the story is probably going to be connected a little bit, but so the majority of people, or a large segment of people, like trust the police, right? They see them on the media, they see the Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. They see these things, right?
Bad boy.
But on another note, like my best friend was killed, and there was a video from somebody's house, the Ring camera, and we was trying to get the video. By chance, another sister we organized with, her aunt was the person who caught the film, and we was trying to get it. She was like, I don't feel comfortable giving it to us, and she said she feel comfortable giving it to the police first. So like
there's no Law and Order Geechee edition. There's no Bad Boys Geechee. Like there's no Geechee TV show. So why would she trust you? You're just a black man in the community. But they have long running shows and movies and
all the things.
I mean, and like the other thing to add is like all these body cameras, and even if you go back to digital camera technology, that's all military. I mean, so something that me and Dwayne Monroe are actually doing a little study on is if you look at the history of like digital technology, camera technology, a lot of that was the needs of the military because they needed to be able to deal with the fact that celluloid was unreliable, right? You had a lot of like error. It would like break, bad film. And then also you needed speed and instant. And you needed to be able to kind of like go in and like go see stuff to get for counterinsurgency and all this type of stuff. So they needed something that was quicker. That's why they're building these servers. That connects all the way to like Yasha Levine's work in Surveillance Valley. They have the ability to get it quick stuff, document, find people, be able to kind of really hone in on that little coffee cup and stuff like that down there. So it's like, of course, they're going to be selling it to these cops, and they're going to tell you that it's for your benefit, right? Yeah, you need the body cams to make you feel safer, and we're gonna hold cops accountable. But really, it always goes back to military technology and their needs. Because like, as a filmmaker, the joke is we said we didn't ask for digital cameras. There was not a filmmaker, I don't think, who really had a problem shooting on 16 millimeter or 35 millimeter film. They just wanted the money, right? Maybe the studios wanted like a little bit less of it because, but they wanted to be able to kind of control things a little bit differently, but they didn't ask for all that. That's all the military. It's all that. So.
And then James Cameron can't make all these Avatar movies. Like you can't get blue enslaved people with celluloid, right? You gotta, right? You need the digital stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's a big thing. Yeah, I mean like you can,
because which is a military project.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Red Nation. I just watched their whole series. I went back and watched their whole series on the Avatar thing. There's supposed to be like 7 of those movies.
Yeah, I know.
Damn.
The sad part. So just so we're all clear, right? I like movies. I contrary to what everybody thinks, I do. I like to sit and watch. I'm not a quiet person when I'm working, and everything that I do is on the computer. Like it's all graphics, website, like all that's, it's all on the computer. So the iPad is always next to me playing something. It could be any variety of things. And I've actually now grown prone to watching these series about like crime series because the way police are totally inept, I just think it's hysterical. So I like to watch just to see what's the thing that they missed that was right in front of them that like the old lady down the street was able to point out. I think it's just classic. But the first Avatar, I was like, oh, this is such a good movie. It's so good. No, I liked it. And then I started watching everybody. And the first person, so just so we're clear, the first people to ruin movies for me was Jared and Jackie Lukeman. Because y'all were talking about, what was the cloning? No, the clone Tyrone.
They cloned Tyrone.
They cloned Tyrone.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Oh my God.
Yes. And I was like, damn, they right. And then I was like, oh my God, are all of them like this? And then Mtume had the nerve to start talking, and now it's totally ruined. Like, I can't watch anything without being like, that's some bullshit. Like, look, they trying to get me.
Mtume and Samantha, we know
Oh, and then
how it's
Samantha.
done.
Oh, it's brutal.
I was focused on the why and the impact or whatever, and they were.
I
They
know.
now
And
we
then
know
Samantha had the
how.
nerve to be looking like a Disney princess, talking about like, this how they get you. So if this
She kinda
happens,
sounds like one too.
yeah, and she's like,
And then they.
and she's smiling, and she's so cute when she do it, right? And she's like, so you know, if that happens and you're happy, they've got you. You've been captured. Right? It's brutal. And so now I can't watch anything without dissecting it. So I don't even want to watch Avatar anymore because I'm not ready. And then Mtume over there giggling like they don't do the 80s thing on Jared's show in Millennials and just ruining all the movies that I grew up loving.
But that stuff should be ruined.
It should be. It should be. You're not
Shout out to
wrong.
Haru who's just with us ruining stuff.
You're not wrong. But it's rough. And then you really have to think about that, right? Like how these things, how they capture you and how you'll sit through a whole movie and be like, damn, that was great. Like how they did, you're all excited until you really start to think about, well, wait, why'd that happen like that? And why, and now I can't even enjoy it. Like, even if a movie is supposed to be good, by the end of it, I'm like, like I walked out of the theater at Sinners, literally. I walked out, I called my husband, shout out to him. He's running late because I forgot to send him the address. My bad, babe. So I know.
That's how husbands get done.
I know, sorry.
It's terrible.
It wasn't intentional.
I mean, that
I was trying to, it wasn't.
Especially after the children show up, we just start to slide. And then all of a sudden, appropriately, our specific interests just,
my bad.
And we all of a sudden we don't get the address to the Jordan.
I know, but in my defense, he's been here before, so I was like, "Oh, it's the same place that Kehinde." Remember when Kehinde was like, "Yeah, but send me the address," because I don't remember the address. I was like, "All right, cool." And then somebody said my name, and that was the end of that. But anyway. So I say all of that. I digress to say, like, I walked out of the theater and called my husband, and I was like, I just lost 2 hours of my life that I'm never getting back. And I don't know why I allowed myself to lose them 2 hours. This was terrible. And then my stepdaughter was mad at me. She was like, it was so good. I was like, it was terrible. I don't even know what you were watching that you thought it was so good.
It was an important collective victory, like Jamal Bryant gave us, and Ryan Coogler getting that deal, owning the movie 30 years from now. This is all a collective Black victory. That's
Rooting for everybody Black.
That's it.
Are we though?
Technically.
It's a
I mean, we're supposed to be.
Are we?
Issa Rae says we should be.
Who said?
Issa Rae.
Our leader.
Oh, Issa Rae.
He's our queen.
Our leader.
Conscious top leader, right?
Oh Lord. Wasn't she in Black? Was the Black Mirror? Didn't she do a Black Mirror episode?
Issa Rae did it.
I haven't watched Black Mirror in a while.
She did, right?
She did.
She did.
Okay.
See, I'm not. See.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
She did.
interesting.
She played. They were doing something where they could like transport you into a movie, and so they transported her into the movie to replace somebody else and replace a man. Right.
Oh,
it was
wow.
a white man too, wasn't it? And so, but it was Lisa Rae, and she was like the love interest of a white woman. It was a whole thing. It was very odd. I do like Black Mirror because that stuff is creepy as hell. You be like, that's definitely gonna happen.
I did it for a while too, but I haven't caught up.
So anywho, so this actually allows us to flow pretty smoothly into this whole Sinners versus the other shitty movie, one battle after another.
Shiny things from white people is the label on the run sheet. Let me click. I'm not supposed to read that.
What?
On the run sheet, it says Sinners versus One Battle, shiny things from white people.
Why Sinners should win Best Picture, but probably won't.
Yeah.
What?
Because everybody's fighting about. And again, shout out Dre, who, when I tell y'all, I promised myself I was going to the grave without watching this movie, One Battle. I decided I'm not watching it. I already lost 2 hours and 15 minutes on Sinners. Then they told me it was almost 3 hours long. I was like, y'all have lost your ever-loving mind. I am not watching that shit. No. And then here come Dre. Well, you have to watch it because you can't really do a full analysis on why it's shitty if you don't watch it. And he's right. But I was okay not doing the analysis. Like, I was good. I was just going to let it be. I was going to let everybody else talk about it. I wasn't going to say nothing. And then I got caught and I had to watch it. I guess.
We've talked about it.
We have. I know. Todd is always like, you took the baton, so now you have to keep it. I didn't really sign up for the baton, though. So.
Did you see it, Geechee? See, look, Geechee the smart one.
Which one did you not see?
Both?
No, he saw Sinners.
Sinners.
He saw Sinners because we did Sinners. We did
that's
the
right.
Sinners thing.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't see One Battle?
How about people here? Who has seen
Let's see.
both? Who has seen One Battle after another? You seen both?
Yeah.
Who has seen Sinners?
I just saw it.
All right, so
Everybody saw Sinners.
almost everybody
Look at
saw
that.
Sinners. Maybe half saw One Battle.
Well, one battle after another
We
is
had the
not
Michael Jordan-
financially a very successful movie.
Yeah.
That's because it's terrible and it's almost
But
3 hours long.
it's also insanely expensive. It was like a $130 million movie.
No,
Yeah.
to make that shit.
Yeah, it was like his most expensive movie. I mean, people in the chat can correct me, but I feel like it was over 100 million. Right? Am I correct on that one? Yeah, which is
I did see that. What's
Tiana Taylor.
She had. I saw where she put out the demand that her character get a follow-up film. That she said Paul.
Didn't
Thomas
she already
Anderson
get her shiny thing
demands-
from a white
She wants a
person now?
prequel.
She wants her character to have a standalone film that follows what happens to her when she disappears, apparently from one battle after another.
Is she going to go to Cuba?
Does she want like the Godfather 2 style where they have like the origin story? You get like the past, right? You get both sides.
Is she going to steal somebody else's child in that movie too?
or have another one and abandon her too? I don't know.
Oh, did you have a question?
I did. So I'm prior military veteran, so I know that movies are entry training. So what was it about Sinners that you didn't like?
So just quickly, so folks in the chat, we had a question saying basically what is it about Sinners that we did not like?
So
A lot.
yeah. So you know what it is? So here, you know what the problem is? So I went to see Sinners after a whole bunch of people had seen it, right? And so at that point, everybody was talking the Easter eggs and the visuals and the music and the da-da-da-da-da. And so I went in already, not gonna lie, like hate-filled. Like there's no part of this that I'm gonna enjoy. And there's a lot to that because people were really excited about the music. And then I'd pull up the Dutch, is he Dutch? Where's the dude from? The Dutch dude who did the music, who flew his father in because his father loved soul music so much and had never gotten to see the South, right? So they flew in and he did the music. Now, did he do it alongside Black folks? Yes. But he is going to be credited for the music. So at its very surface, if you're going to get excited about the music of Sinners, you are getting excited about a white person from another country, Europe,
The chat
who
said
came over.
Sweden.
He's Swedish. Yeah.
Swedish, my bad. Sorry, Dutch people. Yeah, pretty much, right?
Oh, the essentialism of Europe. We will not have it.
Jared and Mtume, I'm curious.
Wait, let me finish.
Oh, we not finished.
I want to
Yeah,
say
Like, this why we can't. I
Go ahead,
know, but I
finish.
gotta answer the
This brother
question.
showed up
I gotta
live and
answer
asked
the
an
question.
important
Sorry,
question.
See, there you go.
My bad. I'm sorry.
You get excited and stuff. So I went in already irritated. I was irritated that the music was by a white person. I was irritated that Ryan Coogler made it very clear that his goal was to sell movie tickets and for people to go buy a latte after. I was very irritated by this whole idea of like, oh, we're going to look at, the Southern culture and all these things, but it was missing all the stuff that would have made it like an actual story from the time, right? Like the storyline is during the Great Depression. I'm sorry, did we get that? No, right? Except for the one scene where they were trading he was trying to trade the wood nickels, right? Yeah. But that's not even because of the Depression. That's just what the white people did to the black people, right? To keep them. And so everything about this storyline to me was very confusing. Like I didn't even understand what is the story that you're trying to get me to follow? That there are these two black people who are twins who are trying to make black capitalism a thing by opening a juke joint. And when they do that, the vampires come, and now the vampires are supposed to be the representation of capitalism. Like it just didn't. And then at the end, I was like, I don't even know what just happened. What just happened? I don't even understand. Like, what was the story I was supposed to get? He shot all the KKK people. Like, that's the story. So, which didn't, there were plenty of stories there were plenty of real stories that you could have told about black revolutionaries who came after white people who were actually trying to kill off black people in the communities. Y'all ain't tell that story. You told the story about the dude who with the gold tooth who was trying to make money on a juke joint. Like, it's just stupid.
Renee, to your point, it's funny. A homie of mine from the South, I had asked him, I said, what'd you think of sinners? He says, hold up. This idea that a couple of Northerners had to teach us how to bang back then is like, he was like, we defended our territory. So the fact they had to go to Chicago to learn the need for
self-defense. From the white people.
If you think about it historically, the legacy of that self-defense comes from down there. Yes. It comes from down there. So it's rewriting the history. But then if you start connecting what that self-defense was, and Jared, you brought this up a lot, that self-defense is connected to left movements, revolutionary movements. They want to keep the black capitalism, and the only reason why we can't have capitalist enterprise is because people are racist. I'm not saying that's not true, but capitalist enterprise under black people is still capitalist enterprise, and that's what we were talking about.
And it's still going to solve the problem.
Exactly.
So just quickly, I belatedly came to this, but there's a great essay that Eugene Puryear wrote a decade ago about Robin Kelly's Hammer and Hoe, which you should read on its own. But his essay highlights these points. That is, Eugene's essay highlights these points, almost prefiguring what should be our critique of the film Sinners, which is that, as Mtume is saying, in this time, at the time that this is all happening, you had all these black radical formations, you had labor movements, communists, socialists, you had all kinds of things happening where we don't have to yet again have the centerpiece of our heroism around two gangsters and businessmen who are happy to say we only wanted the one night. They were like, we got the one night. We had one great night. That was all we really needed. And then the viciousness of capital and imperialism and colonialism is depicted in some cathartic killing of some white folks.
Can I?
Go ahead.
If you don't mind, please, I'd like to put this in the context of how Coogler views reality, and I think this will be you'll correct me on some things if I go too wacky. Fruitvale Station is a story, from my point of view, about the noble savage.
100%.
Because when you see how he talks to white people in that movie and how he talks to black people in that movie, it's completely different. So like Coogler has some information, but it's kind of like I have a friend of mine who, who's always said to me, a mind is a terrible thing to half develop, right? So consciousness is a terrible thing to have developed. So you get Fruitvale Station, which is supposed to be a movie about black oppression, but it's really a movie about a noble savage, right? Then you get a movie like Black Panther, which Now he's constrained by Marvel, right? But he went and pitched what Marvel wanted, right? Because we all know the story that Ava DuVernay wanted to do Black Panther, and she had this whole outline of African culture and how, and they were like, Marvel's like, no, we do superheroes, you know. And so Coogler comes and says, well, I want to do The Godfather, right? So he sets up this movie where, again, there's some false dichotomy, the false dichotomy between total integrationism and total nationalism, instead of what obviously would have been a Pan-African state, right? Had that been a Black-owned character, Black-created character, which is why I had to do a whole book explaining that this character was not even written by Black people until 1999, right? So Coogler has a talent. He's very talented, but his talent is taking something deep and making it tangential. That's his talent. So when you get the Sinners, now I don't have the detailed intellectual critique that you guys have. I mean you see my hat. I mean I'm not like these people.
He dropped one of those in every episode. Every time.
After showing you why he then dives in your face.
I spend all my time.
There's a war with kicks. I'm not that good at kung fu.
I spend all my time watching reaction videos about Doctor Who. I'm not like these people. So. But let me point out how Sinners fits into that Coogler worldview, if I may. This is glib, and by the way, I do want my brother from Newark to win the Oscar. I'm not pretending I'm not, right? Okay, I'm not pretending.
Oh,
right?
boo.
Okay, I'm not pretending. But I just want to say, my first reaction to Sinners was, a vampire movie with August Wilson pretensions. And see, that's where we get to the problem of Coogler. He wants to be like August Wilson and all of these people who have this deep understanding, internal understanding of the African and the African American experience. But he doesn't have the intellectual goods.
I think you give him too much credit.
No, but
go ahead.
Here's where I'll support Todd. Because something like Wilson, he would have probably read at USC. Wilson.
Yeah, you're right.
August for all of his. August.
We can do a whole.
That would actually be a rabbit hole of content. I think that's what I think should happen. Right. But August was very institutional in the respect of his work. I think very reduced, right? But August his work has his own contradictions as well. Right. But he would see that, and then Coogler, because he has that USC training, and I think. That's really important. He is a USC developed and respondent. One of the things that I always find hilarious, and shout out to Hiram, because we just did Rocky 3. He went to them to do Creed.
Yeah, and that was.
They didn't say, "Hey, we want to redevelop Creed." He done Food for Station and says, "Here's my next movie." What? Creed. That just tells you everything right there. He thinks. I know people have worked with him. I've met him a few times. He thinks like a Hollywood person. That's what his whole. He wants to do the job. They tell you this. To work in Hollywood, you need to think of what Hollywood wants before they think it. Right? That's how you become a good person within Hollywood. It's like a business thing in general, right? So it's like, I think you have some really good stuff there. I'm with that.
I do. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
I'm probably backing up. So you start off by saying interacting with Jared make you not want to watch movies anymore, or
I can't enjoy them.
Can't enjoy them, right? And then I think the brother asked about Sinners. Did you like it? And I just want to go back to could we? So here's an example. I'm in my neighborhood. And the data center people, they're trying to tear the neighborhoods against each other, and they put a film up. And in the film, they have a black lawyer who's from the neighborhood, another black lady who's a representative. They have a video asking the data center all the critiques. And said, it's a bit here. So I don't know, you can go see for yourself. So they walk out and they listen. Do you hear this? I don't know what's evil. And this is the video that this company is putting in the black community. And the little black girl from somewhere, and she goes to Georgia Tech. She says, "That is going to be jobs." And it's so cheesy. And everybody in the room is catching it, and I actually can't contain myself.
But when he was going back and forth with the data center says, I'm being honest. And like you can still be honest, but like the narrative that you're coming from. So I guess I want you to kind of say like what is the purpose of film, and does it always have to be like there always have to be conversation to even extract what is supposed to be taken from it?
I mean, it's something to influence your senses. That's the first thing you always got to remember. Any art is about your sensorium. So with that being said, it can be pleasurable, right? Anything you watch, you look at a painting, you listen to music, it affects your senses. But then how do you interpret your senses is through ideology, right? So your ideological upbringing within the world, the various things you believe, and then they put it on a film, and then you have it either reconfirmed or flipped, subverted. So, and subversion can happen in many different ways. So I think like, you know, like the whole thing about liking or not liking something is something that I always challenge my students about. Like that can't really, I mean, you say that, why do you like what you like, right? You can't really make that a barometer. Because also like your emotions are weird. Like I've watched bad movies and a moment comes up and it's like really terrible and sappy. And I felt like, you know, sad, you know? And like, it just, it is what it is. It's a thing that you have to kind of acknowledge. It's about your senses first.
My bad. Yeah, sorry, I just wanted we got distracted for a second. There's something going on. So one thing, while we're doing this, can I just ask a point of order, so to speak, time check wise? I know technically the show ends at 1. Are we at a strict 1 o'clock end? No, I don't know. I want to respect the space, and I don't know.
We have a 2 o'clock.
Okay. Thank you. Just wanted to check on that.
You know why?
Why?
Because I was in charge.
Oh.
I set it up, and I know how we do.
Sorry, just real quick. One thing I just wanted to say, I wanted to go back to take my credit and then give proper credit. One, I called it out day one with the Fruitvale Station joint. I said from day one, this was going to be his career. And I knew Coogler. I didn't know the whole thing about Creed 3. So definitely check out Mtume and Jared's and their whole series, the Hiram discuss, all of that stuff is dope, super dope. The other thing is I want to properly credit Todd and his work on the history of the Black Panther Marvel comic. He and I and our other comrade, Dr. Haight, we have given years of presentations on this. And Dr. Burroughs' book, just for clarity, Marvel's Black Panther, a comic book biography from Stan Lee to Ta-Nehisi Coates. It is a brilliant book, and people are, I think many would have their minds blown to be actually introduced to the real history of that comic and how it, and that character and how it became what it became, and the version that we ended up with. So I just wanted to do that real quick. To this question, you know, was it in our chat group that the Van Lathan discussion came up with one of the sisters from the movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're having that conversation around the importance of Black representation, and more or less I heard in the clip that I saw, it kind of fell back to, we shouldn't, we don't need every Black representative or performance to be all of Blackness and the perfect it was that kind of whole, and I think again those kinds of conversations miss the context. So of course art in terms of human history always plays a role. All human beings have a tendency to produce some form of art. The problem is, in the context of a colonial environment, those who rule recognize that and play upon that and manipulate that. And they're very explicit in their study and in their analysis. We have to manipulate the popular image and the cultural expression that people were conquering produce. Mm-hmm. So they don't want to. It is what Fanon said about colonial production of culture. The goal is not to destroy Black culture in a colony. That would be too obvious. Mm-hmm. The point, as he said, is to ossify it in a colonial form. And then I love his line of making it testify against its own people. That's what we end up with. And that's the context. So of course, so when you ask, like, there are moments, when I'm watching Ryan Coogler's work, part of what makes me have this critique and get at times upset is that it is at times good. I see what's being done. And the more I'm in conversation with people like you all, it's even more clear. The techniques are they know what they're doing. When I'm being moved to tears or to be angry or sad, they know that they're doing that on purpose. And of course, we want to see these beautiful, talented Black people and actors and directors and stories. And and it's like, when I was watching Sinners, it feels like when I go to work at my beautiful HBCU campus. And you walk, and it's great. It's just wonderful, every form of Blackness, all day, every day. And it's only when you are forced to actually pay attention and interact that you realize that it ain't all that. There's problems here. Right. So it's like that with these movies. It's like, oh, this is so. And then once you start to wait. Oh, damn. We're not as free and autonomous and sovereign and getting the media to. So that's
Yeah.
So I like stuff all the time. It's not about, but yeah.
So you said like they do it on purpose. When you said that, like, I immediately thought about, like, so whoever this actor or whoever this person we love, when people hear the critiques, they're really defending the artist. And when you say they do it on purpose, are you clear? Like, you're not saying like Ryan is doing it on purpose, or Michael B.
No, I'm not saying Ryan.
I am.
Oh wow.
I am.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, or like you have to like rethink how purpose is. They, like some fascists know they're fascists. Not all fascists realize they're fascists, right? You know what I'm saying? Like they have those beliefs. Someone like Ryan, he thinks he's probably, I do think, having met him, I do believe he thinks he is doing something that is actually of the best of intentions for Black people. But he's ideologically formed within a system, within liberal arts and liberal arts education, that makes him think that these really terrible Eurocentric forms is how you do that. Yeah. And it's kind of in his individualist rise and these types of things and this kind of stuff. He truly does believe this. It's a twisted kind of mentality, but I think he truly does believe. And a lot of these actors and then like it's funny, like you get in this. I was having a conversation with someone about I'll probably end revealing something. Your favorite movie, One Night in Miami, right? And how that got on the Criterion Collection, right? And this person admitted to me the movie was terrible, but they said, but we have to get Regina King to be the status of other people. So they admitted to me the movie was bad, but they know of the social project. Gemma DeChrystal, we had a really good conversation on Within Our Gates, and she was talking about like this idea of like certain types of Black conservative people thinking about civilizational projects. We're like a civilization, and we have to create this kind of, it's like the old European Enlightenment shit. It's just bad thinking, right? And so they do believe, I do think some of them believe. So I'm with Renee, yes, but like it's not, they don't necessarily think that they're having bad thoughts. They think they're good thoughts.
So the reason I answered the way I did is because he very clearly said he wanted to sell movie tickets. So the minute your goal is to sell movie tickets, that has shit to do with enlightening and making things better for the community. So there's somebody in the chat right now that's saying like, oh, but his family history, and the chat, y'all be moving so fast sometimes, and I'm not doing a good job today.
The Oakland thing,
right?
But I think we skip a notch though, because even if he wants to sell movies, because that's his ticket to get out, his intent
is already out.
Well, ticket to get out and get up. I don't know where else he gonna go, but if he, like, these people think that's
Like that's what liberation is. So like
So liberation is people buying a $16 ticket to sit in a movie.
that's why purpose got to be careful, because it's like his intent. Like,
Jamal Bryant told us again that we have a collective victory in holding our dollar back.
I can't stand
So, but just quickly, I just want to clarify real quick. When I'm saying they are doing it on purpose, I'm talking about those who have imprint in their studies constructed this environment. I'm talking about the owners of the means of production. I'm talking about the people who put together the field of mass comm, the people who put together, who studied the history of propaganda and the use of film and have, from their perspectives of intelligence and military and corporate and political ruling elite, how to manipulate those spaces. They're very clear that what we take as important symbols as consumers and audience members, they intend to manipulate to move us in certain political directions. When it comes to the films themselves, in general, I don't try to assess intent because I haven't seen the data in the way that I've seen in terms of the people who constructed all of this. The impact, whatever Ryan's interests or intent is very much informed with what the ruling elite want. What I mean by what they do on purpose is that he does know within a film. I know when I put that scene in there that a lot of others have criticized, but I got suckered in by with the whole Pan-African music scene and the whole cultural
escapades.
I was watching that and I was like, that got me. I was like, that scene, that was like, now Ryan got me again. And I'm watching, I was like, that's dope right there. I like that right there. So in that moment, he knows he's going to get me and people like me. I know that is constructed on purpose to do a thing for that he is very clear on. And when you're right, when he says, I want to sell tickets, he knows consciously, I have to hit certain cultural markers for my community. I also know I have to hit certain cultural markers for those who are going to give me Creed off of Fruitvale. So, and that is a very white, elite, mostly male investment community audience. This
is the last point I want to make because I'm messing up the mic here with this mic here. But I think both themes of what you've been talking about can be fit together, if I may. And I don't want to sound too glib, but I think what we're talking about is that we're really talking about almost like a 3D printing phenomenon, right? We have the real thing, and then we have a 3D printing of a thing. And with each printing, the copy gets worse and worse and worse. So for instance, we can have a harsh critic of a Jesse, right? But he's what? 3D printing on King and did that his entire career, right? And now you have Bryant 3D printing off of Jesse, right? Okay. So, and I want you to hear what you think about this, Mtume. So when I'm thinking about what you're saying about Coogler, I'm thinking, who is Coogler printing off of, 3D printing off of? The Black LA Film School.
Well, he says Spike.
Well, see, he is the ultimate 3D printer because he went, no, I know. Spike said, I am not going around from town to town with a reel like Holly Garima. He said that, right? And he meant that. And he said, I want films to be in Hollywood. I want them to be funded. I want to do all that. So he made all the compromises he made. But when you look at Coogler, in his head, he thinks he's part of the Black Film School, LA Film School, but he's a 3D printing of it. The revolutionary politics and the revolutionary aesthetic is not the same. But
I would have wanted to disagree with you until I saw a couple of years ago that hugged up picture between Garima and Ava DuVernay, because I would have thought that's not the same tradition. But to your point, she probably sees herself in that tradition, despite whatever I might think. But there she is, hugged up with the legend of that tradition. So that's why I'm like, I want to disagree with you, but.
And see, and my problem is I'm sick of all these people. So, right. So I give none of them credit for anything that would be based on trying to do something for the betterment of people, right? And so to me, the minute you say, let me make this movie, right? And where you go to do that is to the white people in Hollywood, your intent is told to me based simply on that decision, right? Because not being funny, Mtume, you just finished the project. Did you go to Hollywood and the white people to ask? No, right?
But tell the truth.
How much should the check be?
I'm saying, no, tell the truth.
Go ahead.
If the Warner Brothers came to you and said, you get the next Ryan Coogler bucket of money, if you make Creed 7, like you. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
I mean, I could tell my John Brown story now.
Please,
please,
let's go.
please.
So
Please.
we were in the chat about, gosh, I think it's like 7-8 years ago. I got approached by 2 white men to rewrite a script about John Brown. Right. So I was like, oh, let me read it. You know, I read it. It wasn't a very good script. It was very, very metaphysical, like, you know, him having like visions, and it was very Braveheart, right? They had a brother with a gun next to him who was like a sidekick. It was, you know. So I read it. I read a little bit about Brown. I was like, well, it was kind of similar to what Jared had said recently on his show. I was like, I want to do a movie about how this is a part of like material history of revolt. And what could we learn about revolution? And then that white people could see like, hey, this is a model to follow. And I gave them a pitch. It wasn't that hard, the pitch, but it was like still in there. And they looked at me like, well, you know, we just kind of want you to like spruce up this script. You know, we don't really want a lot of changes in that kind of direction.
Did they hit you with the Hollywood shuffle? Could you blacken it up?
Well, no, but that was the one thing. It was actually the side character. They wanted me to make him more dynamic, right? They were like, yeah, we want to like, you know, give him some speeches. And I feel like they felt like they could probably write for Black people. So I think it's really what they did want. They wanted me to take that character and like spruce him up, make him like a really big character, try to like offer it to like a Lakeith Stanfield or somebody to like, you know, I'm dead serious.
Oh,
you think I'm lying? Like, no, I'm like, that's probably who they would have thought of at the time, right? Get him in there. And make the movie. I mean, and that's where you realize those limits. No, like as far as like me, there's a funny story. There's a great.
I'm sorry, real quick before you go in, that's sort of the point I was making fun of a moment ago. Like these are the moments of invitation that people, to Renee's point, as I understand you, are making a conscious choice at some point. In other words, somebody else would have said, "I'm gonna go ahead and write this. I'm gonna, you know, do the massaging of the script because that's gonna get me the next."
Well, yeah, and this kind of goes back to Todd's point, and I can bring it with Renee's also, and I think Samantha who's in the chat will agree with me. Your training, unless you start questioning your training in anything you do, in any kind of art expression, you start questioning your training. If you don't do that, you lost. You can think. Ryan Coogler can think. He even brought up Karl Marx in an interview. He brought up Karl Marx. They ain't not Marx. He brought it up. He brought it up. Marx, right? But he tries to like claim it and like posture it. And I think on some level he believes it. But unless you're actually questioning like the training you had, like I'm someone who was classically acting trained, and I actually questioned it while I was there. I had
just so you know, Sam just wrote and said, yes, I 100% agree with that.
Yes, you have to question, and he doesn't. So he can think whoever he is, right? But he's always going to be an output of that training, and they like it because he can kind of do these quasi things. He can like make that mix in the way that they want, right? And look, and I'll say this will be my last part, like Hollywood people stealing from more radical filmmakers has been happening. There's a video about Martin Scorsese talking about how he got a lot of the shots from Mean Streets from a guy named Glauber Rocha, the most revolutionary Brazilian filmmaker there ever was. He admits it. The whole like the big long shots of like De Niro snapping his thing in front of the car. He said, "Oh yeah, I got that all from Rocha." From Black God, White Devil. Like they admit it. They steal from the revolutionaries and just make it liberal shit all the time.
And that's my point, right? So it's all to me intentional. And I give zero credit to someone who is able to collect their hundreds of millions or tens of millions or whatever money he collected, right? That he will continue to make because he got the biggest deal. He scored the biggest deal. The black man got the deal. Great, right? But what does it do in the end? Nothing, right? And he knows this. He knows this going into the project, that he's going to make his money. He's going to be able to do exactly what Samantha tells us they are trained to do, which is to give you just enough that when you're watching it, you question what it is that they're trying to teach you, right? What's the thing they're trying to get me to see or envision or possible? And it's all bullshit. They just want you to buy your ticket. That's it. That's all they want. They want you to buy your ticket. They want you to sit with the Coca-Cola cup. They want you to get popcorn. Maybe they'll let you use the bathroom, right? Like, but at the core of it, they just want you to buy your ticket and enjoy the movie and then go back home and don't do nothing else. Come to the next time they want you to buy your ticket. That's what they want you to wait for the next time they want you to buy your ticket. That's what they care about.
So we mentioned Parenti just a minute ago, and I've been meaning. I said I was going to borrow from something I saw. I went back and watched some of his stuff lately, and there's a video where he gives a lecture, and he starts off by saying something like, he says, a lot of my students always say, the ruling elite, they don't care about us, they don't care what we think, they're not, and he said no. He said in fact it's the opposite. He said in fact the only thing about us that the ruling elite care is what we think. Their goal is to make us think of the world in ways that will not challenge their rule. So yeah, you're right. I'm just adding that to what Renee was just saying, they're concerned that we will think we have enjoyed ourselves. We've participated in some collective win with Kugler's contract. We got to see Klansmen and white vampires shot up, so it's like cathartic. And we forget the fact that a black man shot a poor black man for trying to steal just to survive, and we're supposed to be like, that's a good thing. Well, at least he didn't kill him. It's like, well, it's like, damn. I mean, why don't you just give him a loaf of bread or something and be like, you shot him. Nah, it's a lesson. He need to be taught a lesson. You're like, no, the lesson is if you're poor, you should do what you got to do. Anyway, I'm sorry. All right. So, but yeah, so that is. I just wanted to add that they do care what we think, and they want us to think of so many things that are not wins as wins, and they want us to see ourselves as participating in something when we're not. And so on and so on and so on. So
and that's the trick. Yeah.
I thank y'all for answering that question, because it's like I grew up on movies as well. Like I mean, watching Imitation of Life with my mom and having that cry scene and not know why I'm crying, but I'm crying. Like the movies, I've been in podcasting and media for a while. Movies have the ability to imprint on your cells, which holds the memories. So I didn't like Sin.
yeah, you do have to turn it on. Yeah, turn it on real quick.
All right. Once again, I'm Elijah Morgano. I thank you for answering it, because what you said about the confusion part, like these black faces in high places, these talented temps, these elites that are part of boule things, right? They understand things like Project Monarch, with things like Alice in Wonderland and Wizard of Oz. This is all product placement and project placement. So I get the frustration. Getting to a point where, because I brought up my military background, because we got MK Ultra to get through at boot camp and AIT. Like you're trained one to kill, and train one to take orders from your superior, regardless of how integrous he is. So I thank you for that, but I just know that movie was like a Nat Turner moment, but not for black people to go against the machine, but to, like, if you have a bottle of ants, and you got red ants and black ants, but we all ants. But if you shake that bottle up and you throw in some good music from everything, we feel good. We have elevated thought. We have elevated emotions, and then our thoughts are being controlled by whatever movies or music we listening to. That's what MK Ultra and hijacking is. So, but I just wanted to leave this with you. Is this, you know that you've gotten through the rabbit hole once. You can look at a movie and be like, if it was good or bad, but I got this, I got that, and then I can take that on to the next movie I watch. That's the definition of entertainment.
Absolutely.
And that's why thankfully my neighbor said join the Navy instead of the Army, because all they told me to do was sweep a floor and paint something. In the Navy, where they didn't teach me to kill nothing. They was like they did say follow your orders, focus up, pay attention, and do what you're told on it. Real quick, one of the things I read about John Brown recently was that to your point, when you were being asked to write in the mysticism, one of the articles I read argued that John Brown, as religious as he was, one of the things that distinguished him from Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman was the absence of visions. Now, I know some from the African world would look at that as a positive in many ways in terms of Harriet and Nat Turner, but the point was, in terms of this article and the materialist focus of it, no, John Brown, as whatever we might think of his beliefs, he was very material and was like, I'm not seeing visions of nothing. I'm reading the scripture, and the scripture says, kill the slave master. So there I go. He wasn't saying Jesus is talking to me. I'm not seeing God. I'm not seeing the blood on the leaves and all of that, but I'm reading the scripture. And he said, that's what I'm taking from the scripture. And therefore there we go. So I think that's interesting that they would want to turn that into something else.
But can I add to that? So shout out to my sister, Dr. Tara Taylor, in the building, Morehouse. So we did an event, Mamiya, a prison reader. And Jennifer Black came down and we did it on Morehouse campus. And I don't know if you chose John Brown, but by all the speakers, Andrew Douglas was a speaker too. We had to find a passage and bring it back. And so it goes from Ona, the enslaved woman who freed herself from Washington, Nat Turner, John Brown, and it goes all the way to like Chelsea Manning. But in John Brown's one, and John Brown one, and a few of them made me cry. But John Brown letter to his family, and his daughter, and this coming to the visions part. Like he was writing and he was telling her to don't be ashamed of your family or something like that, right? So those are visions, right? I mean, he can see like this is going to happen, this is going to happen,
right? Okay, I see what you're saying.
Right, and so you can do the visions, but you also could it don't have to be, the visions don't have to be the result that it leads to.
In other words, he was prophetically reaching the logical conclusion of what he saw happening materially. If I could put all that together like that, I'll throw it together. I don't know, but anyway, yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know the history that well, but I remember talking to someone in Ireland when they talked about Braveheart, and that William Wallace is actually not the person they follow. It's actually Robert the Bruce, right? And they said the reason why they liked the William Wallace story because it had this kind of lost his wife and very Hollywood things that we connect to a family. But to talk about Robert the Bruce, you have to talk about the political history of Ireland, of Scotland, and England, right? And so they didn't want to do that. They want to make some kind of quasi emotional kind of story that you can get drunk in, Wallace and all this stuff, right? But no, you can Mel could do all that type. But I laugh every time I think of that movie. And then I remember when I saw what was it? What is his the Nat Turner movie name?
The Birth of a Nation.
A Birth of a Nation. I call it Slaveheart.
Oh damn, that's bar.
I called it Slaveheart. I mean, he does stake Mel. He does stake Mel Gibson at the end. He does stake Mel at the end of the movie, right? I called it Slaveheart, right? But it's that same kind of thing, right? The wife and doesn't have a line in the movie, but she has to. I mean, I don't even want to rethink.
No,
that
but it's
movie.
I can see it follows
the same
kind
of formula,
and then it ends with the boy that had been a snitch leading the Union Army and carrying the flag is like the last scene after he snitched on that.
But they have to take it out of the political and the social history. That's like the big thing, right? You divorce it from that. And I remember the script was like that. Like it what you could recognize in the iconography about, you know, the South and slavery was definitely evident, but also Christianity and things like that were
But also
evident.
apparently he tried to do the business thing too. Like he
That
did
was
all.
me. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Like I'm reading this, I'm like, wait a minute. The whole point, but to that point though, is like instead of a story being told to show, wait a minute, I'm a kid, I see this white man beat this black boy, and I'm like, wait a minute, how does that work? How you know, there's a problem here with the race. And then he's like, I try to get into the Christianity. He's like, I got a problem with how people are doing the scriptures. I try to do the business thing, and I see the capitalists got this all locked up. And then you're doing all this flowery language in your liberal declarations, and there's all this inequality and all this slavery. He's like, wait a minute. And then he evolves like, no, wait, no, we got to do something else. But his conclusions, whatever we might think of them and however we might be comfortable or not with them, were based on his engaging a political economy, a society, and evolving a more militant form of struggle. It wasn't just he woke up one day and went nuts and attacked white men who owned enslaved Africans. No, that was the logical conclusion of someone who was thinking rationally about the society in which he lived and saw what was not being done by the liberal ruling elite that was trying to just give speeches and not do nothing.
So
cough 2026.
So we are talking every day. There's a conversation going on with us, and as you can see, we're just building here, but we're going to turn into a little yoga practice. I'm joking. No, but I'm just curious, as we're talking about this, what's coming up for y'all in terms of thoughts, media, like any thoughts that's been coming up as you hear this conversation?
Yeah, Slaveheart was a bar. That was fun. I'm looking at the chat. I'll go first.
Yeah. Hello? Yeah. What's up? So I think I also hated like Sinners. I walked out. It could have been on Prime as far as I'm concerned. It could have been on Prime. And do y'all think in some ways that the accolades that Sinner is getting is more about the hemorrhaging of like big budget releases? I feel like they're going to win all the Oscars strictly because Coogler gave inspiration on both sides in regards to like, the public, but also like a hemorrhaging model that no longer exists of like big budget Hollywood films. Do y'all think that as well? Or
can I just say real quick, just that because one thing I think we should watch is something Samantha said in one of our recent discussions about how you campaign for these. So it's not just the content politically or otherwise of the film. There's a whole campaign going on around why this film should win all the Oscars. And I was just reading before we got started that part of that campaign is, again, this whole, diversity and blackness and black win. And this is a movement. And that's why it's being compared to one battle after another, because they were trying to do this whole thing of the world wants revolutionary struggle. These are the only forms we find acceptable. So let's promote them. And there's a whole campaign around it. So like this, anyway, just want to throw that in there.
I'll just say, so the article that I found is in NPR, which it's on the sheet. You know it's on the sheet.
I mean, I just wasn't sure if it was. if you was it this one?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
You know it's on the sheet.
I know.
Man.
I just wasn't sure if that was.
So in NPR, the conversation was basically like Sinners should win, but one battle is going to win, and here's why, right? And they actually don't bring up the big money of it, right? And their thing is, I can't remember the dude's name that did one battle, that it's his turn to
Paul
get a shiny
Thomas
thing,
Anderson,
right?
Yeah.
And someone mentions the discomfort of killing off all the KKK at the end of Sinners, which, okay, like
discomfort,
right. I mean, not even funny. Like I went to see it in Union, and the theater erupted in applause at the end, and everybody was really excited. And I was thinking to myself, all this excitement because the black capitalists shot up the KKK dies in the process of doing that. But we're not talking about like the actual history of how, like the actual history of when these things actually happened, like when black people actually came with their guns and protected entire communities from being attacked by the KKK. We're not gonna tell that story. We're gonna tell the story of this singular black man whose brother ends up living forever because now he's a vampire with the part white lady that everybody was mad at because nobody realized that she was part black and blah, 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 blah. So like all these things, like it's so absurd. Like the whole thing is so absurd. And I'm like, you could have just read a book. Where's Hiram? Like, you got to read, beloved. Like you could have just read a book, right? And you would have gotten some real history.
Read, beloved.
I mean, am I wrong? Like
No.
So this is the thing that bothers me. So like one battle, right? So
That drop says you don't read, beloved. If you because I just showed it on the screen.
Here it comes.
Yeah, hi.
Wait, we need a drop. We need a drop. Can we get a live drop?
We need a live drop.
We need a live drop.
We don't.
I
We need a live drop.
I told the audience they could have just read a book. No.
You just don't read, beloved.
There it is. But just real quick from the article you shared, that Aisha Harris, one of the interviewees on NPR, says yes, everything Glenn said. But I think the shorter version is it's time for Paul Thomas Anderson. Do I think it's time? No. But I do think a lot of Hollywood thinks it's time because he's yet to win a Best Picture. He has yet to win Best Director. Paul Thomas Anderson has so much goodwill. He's a director's director. He is the letterboxed king. All these things.
I mean,
it is a big box movie.
Yeah.
Right? You just said they spent $150-60 million making that garbage. So, right?
Yeah, and I think the bigger thing and kind of how I always end up looking at it is there's a certain degree that it doesn't matter because it's all about getting you reinvested into the Oscars. Right. So to your point, I think what it is the Oscars every couple of years has a problem, right? Race, gender. Not saying these are not real problems or the fact that, and no one wants to go to the original thing that the Oscars were actually made for union busting. Yes, this is true. Go look it up. It is true. Go look it up. It was made for union busting, right? To have an investment in the belief that Hollywood could deliver for people. Right. So they have these problems consistently. So they got to get you in this discourse. I saw another article in Variety saying similar to what Jared was saying, where it was saying that what Sinners and One Battle and whatever it's called is able to do is tap into the political moment.
Yep, they said political in this article.
And I'm like, really? I don't know. Like,
Did they though?
I think we understand the political moment, and we're all looking at this movie like this does not understand the political moment. So if this is praised by the Academy Awards, right? People who are questioning the Academy Awards can then say, well, look, the Academy seems to be recognizing what the political moment is, right? So, I mean, it also is contradictory because then people will also then say Oscars don't mean nothing, but then Sinners gets 12 Oscars. Suddenly it's like means everything. So it's all basically trying to get you to kind of go back to it. And then, yeah, if the Sinners, they will try to repeat Sinners. I'm sure there's 6 Sinners being made right now around the country, right? They are. You probably will see that one battle after another prequel, offshoot, right? It'll be a TV show. It's what they do. They don't have original ideas, but But I think the big thing is all getting you to recommit to belief in Hollywood, right? That's what Coogler does. That's what Issa Rae does. I mean, that's what Paul Thomas Anderson's job is, right? And he's not a dummy. He knew what he was doing writing this movie. And he now has a whole new people he feels he can tap into. Black people, you got these black folk co-signing like, oh, Paul Thomas Anderson did a really big thing for us. I mean, you hear it. It's how they talk about him, like, And I'm like, it's just all to get us in league and believe that this is a place that will hold our best intentions.
Right. And in the end, it's, I know, and I see. So, and I just want to add that it is always Black people doing the shitty things that gets them the shiny thing from the white people, right? And so, you know, one of my annoyances with this whole like sinners versus one battle is all the Black people at the core of it. They're all shitty people, right? Like, it's Black. Am I wrong? Like, you have two brothers who were working with the mob in Chicago, and they came back to the South so that they could steal money by selling booze and getting people hopped up and excited with the music so they could get more money, so they could go buy more liquor somewhere else and go rinse and repeat it somewhere else. That's a shitty person. That's a shitty person. I'm not wrong.
I'm not
right?
I'm not going to tell you.
And then you go to one battle, good Lord, and you got the pregnant Black lady with her machine gun, right? You got the other Black lady walking on the whatever, the table and stuff at the bank. This is what Black power looks like.
That was the line?
That's well, no, the woman, her name is Jungle Pussy, is standing on a car with a machine gun, shooting into the air, screaming, "This is what Black power looks like."
This is what Black power looks like.
You don't even see what or who she's shooting at. It's just random in the air. This is Black power looks like.
Don't. Right? But this is what we get, right? And so now this is the thing that you are supposed to sit on a Sunday night in front of the TV while they pump you with commercials, one of which is bound to be the Black kid walking up to the white kid in the hallway and telling him that he knows, you know, I'm sorry that they're making fun of you for being Jewish, but I feel your pain. Here's your blue sticker because we are together in the... Look, you're making faces. That shit happened. This is an actual commercial that played during the Super Bowl. Right? So you're going to sit now through this 4-hour travesty of people talking shit. Everybody's dressed up. Never mind. We are literally dropping bombs on schools on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Literally. Like, that's not even like, oh, this is some random comparison. Sorry. And look, people get mad at me for saying we. I apologize. Look, I just happen to recognize that my tax dollars paid for it. So when I say we, it's not because I accept the responsibility for it. I understand that I am a captured person who lives on stolen land. I'm fully aware, but I pay taxes. And therefore, I cannot escape my little role in what is happening. So I say we. Everybody don't have to say we can we don't need to digress on it. It's a whole thing sometimes, right? But so I'm gonna sit now, I'm gonna watch 4 hours of people talking. They're gonna give out the shiny things from the white people. None of them are gonna even acknowledge that something is going on. And if they do, they're gonna start playing the music so that they don't say it for too long. Right? It's live, so they won't do what they did on the BBC where they allow the N-word to get dropped, but then edit out the person saying "Free Palestine," right? That won't happen because it's live. Maybe somebody be able to squeeze
The explanation for that was funny, though. Part of it was, well, we were respecting the disabled by not editing out a Tourette syndrome response, whereas the Palestinian remark was made by an able-bodied person who was just being politically inappropriate. So
did they really say that?
Not in the exact words, but they did actually say that that part of their explanation for not editing it out was that they thought that would have been disrespectful to the disabled community. So what we just need is some political Tourette's. And and then everybody, you know, and no disrespect to the disabled, but I mean that was, to me, like I thought that was a particularly pernicious explanation, playing on claiming we're doing this for the disabled community and we're protecting the politically childish who can't hear someone say "Free Palestine."
I'm sorry. I got irritated and I started rambling. My
Oh
bad.
no, hold it. Just want to appreciate y'all coming here as per usual. Flowers, and whatnot. One of the things I wanted to, this is more of a comment in regard to what Geechee had said. I guess with the story regarding the database. I'm good. Okay. I guess, and then I forgot Mtume's response, but I'm thinking about, as you guys have been talking, major drops on Michael Parenti and the idea of invented reality, also connecting with the free market, quote unquote, right? And I guess in order to, at least my thought is that if there's such a push regarding the data center, just propaganda, just in general, I think it can only be as strong if there's no opposition to said market of look how great this data center is, right? Or going back to the idea of, sorry, kind of nervous, sinners, with, look at what these two Black people are doing, right? But there's no opposition to here's this film, here's this other commercial, and if it's not backed by any actual money, unfortunately, that's how it goes. And even thinking about, I guess, a little bit what I know, the Telecommunication Act, I guess, playing a role in who can say what, I think it always just shifts the goalposts into position of power. Just a comment. And then just to add to the whole bad Black people movie, doing bad things or half-assed things, I think about the end of Black Panther, where I think all he did was come back to America and then made a youth center for a kid, and you're a kid of a fictional place of Wakanda. That's all you're really going to do.
That's all we getting.
That's all we getting.
We get an addition to the nonprofit industrial complex.
He was trying to do a mutual aid. That's what he was doing.
That's it.
That's what he told me.
It is.
That's it.
But that's going to be a long 4 hours. I'm not watching that madness. I'll watch the clips. I'll let you.
I'm not watching that. I just wanted to see.
Geechee, you watching?
What I do want to see is the conversation. I want to be the fly on the wall in the room with Paul Thomas Anderson and Maya Rudolph, talking about their having a child and the depiction of this biracial daughter with the white male savior and the Black woman that abandons her daughter to go fight in a vague revolution after being assaulted sexually repeatedly by this other white. I mean, the sexual predation nonsense in that film is
and in Sinners.
I mean, we do have to mention though.
Wow.
We do have to mention who is Maya Rudolph's mother.
Right.
Minnie Riperton.
Yeah.
I watched that film and it was in my head.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry, it's in my head. Rotary Connection. It's in my head. And to your point, the conversations around how they view race mixing, quote unquote, all that type of stuff. Their own. I mean, the filmmakers do this stuff where they kind of like take their really thought about, personal issues and throw them into movies and make their own social judgments. But to your point, I actually don't want to see that conversation because they have some weird ideas.
You might be right. You're probably right. But
listen, I know I am not spending 1 minute watching that horse shit, and I can't stand it. And I always think about how excited everybody was when who played the crackhead and got the Oscar? Is that Halle Berry? Halle Berry, right?
Wait,
Monster Ball.
No, she wasn't a crackhead.
She wasn't a crackhead.
She wasn't a crackhead?
She was a crackhead.
This is gonna crackhead.
I keep thinking she was a crackhead.
Her husband, played by Sean Puffy Combs, was executed.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. Right. But she was a mess. So she got the Emmy for that, right? What's his face? Denzel got his Emmy for
Training Day.
For standing
no,
on the roof.
Halle Berry was the crackhead mother in that movie.
Yeah,
Losing Isaiah.
Did she get an award for that?
No.
Okay.
No. She wasn't bad enough.
What
as a
about the
Black
one where
person.
she was trying to find her child? Did she
Trying to find her child?
I thought
Isn't that
was
Losing
that.
Isaiah?
That's Losing Isaiah.
No, recently.
Oh, recently, I don't know.
Oh,
She still makes movies.
she does. Isn't she the one with the twins?
Yeah, I feel like
The weird, the horror movie with the twins and isn't that her? Right?
I don't know.
It is, right? So I'm not crazy. Yeah, she's in another one where she's the mother and they live in this house and they have to tie the rope around the waist to leave the house because something in the forest outside the house that will get you and something, maybe. But in the end, the kid survives and he takes the spirit with him or something. She always doing these weird. She's a weirdo anyway. So, listen, in the end, don't watch it. I'm just joking. But I mean, I would love if I thought that there was even one shot that one of these people would get up there and instead of making their flowery speech about how excited, like get up and just read the stats of the amount of people who have died in Iran over the past 2 weeks, right? Or the amount of people that are still under the rubble in Palestine, or the fact that they're now shooting Haitians with drones, right? We don't have a reason for it. And no one's talking about what's happening in Haiti. It's like none of that's happening, right? Or if somebody would get up there and cuss out the Jamaican prime minister for pulling all the Cuban doctors off the island and making the teachers leave with them in solidarity with their people, right? Or the shield of whatever the hell, the shield of something that they just created, because I don't really know what that thing's supposed to do either. The shield of the what is it? The shield of power. What's it?
I don't know. There's the Board of Peace.
No. There's another one because they just announced it in Florida last week. The shield of something. The shield. Is it the shield of the Americas? Motherfucker. Listen, look. So all these things, right? No one's gonna get up there and say any of that. Right. And if somebody gets up there and they sneak even a little bit of that in, the Oscar music going to start playing and they might tackle them off the stage.
Well, after Brando in 73,
right.
You know, they had to kind of reorient.
Right. Right. And don't they pre-tape some of this stuff?
It has a
there's like a little bit of, right?
Certain awards are not shown or something also.
Right. So in the end, nothing that you're going to get over those 4 hours is going to give you anything that is going to be worth the 4 hours, right? I mean, unless you really like clothes, which some of them outfits be wilding anyway, so I don't know if that's helpful. But like, but they want you to be captured by it, right? They want you to sit in front of the TV and wait for the announcement and the deep breath while they open the envelope and the whole thing. And no one's going to say like, y'all got all this opulence going and you probably roughhoused all the homeless people that were living on the street before this shindig started so that you could pretend there's no homeless people who live outside of this theater. Right? Like it is. Sometimes I'm like, is it just like, I say this a lot. Is it me? Like, sometimes I wonder if life is easier in the bubble, right? Is it easier to just like, go, and I got my own little things, right? I sent Jared to Whole Foods to get some forks earlier because, what am I going to do, right? But like, I'm like, when people sit and give that 4 hours to the Oscars, right? And like, honestly enjoy it. Like they spend, look at this. And can you believe in Oscar parties and all these things? I'm like, do any of them think about the people dying on, I started to say on the other side of the world, but probably like down the street, because they don't have health care or they couldn't buy food or.
So I don't know how to I keep wanting to, as I'm listening to you, I keep wanting to scream out some call to action and advocacy for something. And I just don't know exactly what it is. So I will fall back on saying, since we're talking about films and you mentioned the house list, please, whenever you get the chance, see Crushing Wheelchairs. We are trying to get some screenings up and down the East Coast in May. So from Boston down to DC, there might be screenings coming to your town. And I'm trying to support this effort. The film is amazing. It's made by the Houselets. It's made by guerrilla filmmakers. It's made for the people, by the people, as they say. And it's really, really good. That's the other part. It's not even me doing the thing that I know many of us have had to do from time to time, where it's like, you know, you guys support this just on the love. It's not really that good, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Not yet. As far as I know, they're just doing in-person screenings. But we will, as soon as there's word, we're
trying to figure, because we're definitely going to
try to host one too.
Right.
So,
just so you know, I see plenty of movies by just planning a screening. Because once I decide I want to watch something, like, we just going, who wants to screen it, and where do we need to go?
But the other reason that I really wanted to bring it up in this context is because of something that Mtume has been saying that I've been thinking about ever since, is the development of not only third cinema, but an appreciation among audiences for that. So that we don't go into it looking to expect to see some, you know, whatever. And now, fortunately, as I'm concerned, when you see Crushing Wheelchairs, it doesn't demand that I didn't feel like I had to do as much to move from what I would be traditionally accustomed to in terms of mainstream media and filmmaking. It didn't require me to give up on so much in terms of production quality and storytelling and emotional whatever. But on some level, I think, you know, we do need to be adjusted in terms of ourselves as audiences and consumers of media to make room for this kind of media to be produced and consumed and supported, and hopefully have some sort of political impact. So anyway. Yeah.
I mean, one thing I also will say, though, I mean, you also have to pay attention to some of the other, though. I mean, there are 2 Iranians who are nominated for Oscars this year, and they have particular political orientations. You know, you did a great thing with Samantha about the voice of Henry Job. So what they do, I mean, who remembers Dead Man Walking?
Oh,
right, remember that movie?
Yes.
Came out in the piece of death penalty conversations. So this is to constantly see, you know, and it's funny, and who was a star of that, ironically, Susan Sarandon.
Yes.
Who's currently on the outs because of Palestine advocacy. Right. Which is like a funny, interesting kind of thought, right? But it's what they do. They give you these like liberalized, detached versions to say that they are current. Right, it's in our brain, and then someone will make a really like you said, a really like detached milquetoast speech that doesn't say anything about, you know, the horrors of the moment, and, you know, but the Oscars, we can, you know, reflect on, you know, what it means to be human, you know, some dumb shit like that, right? You know what I'm saying? But like that's kind of what they do. They detach it, then have a little bit of acceptable or compatible, you know, stuff to make them act like they're, you know, part of the moment.
But I think, Eddie, you had a question?
Said something very real 20 years ago, and they never let him talk again.
Oh no, they're not. And
yeah,
no. Yeah.
Was
there was a question in the chat? Yeah. Eddie, did you have a question?
It's working. How you doing? What's up, peace comrades? Just want to say shout out. Thank you all for assembling this talk. It's been incredible. Shout out to the longtime comrade Renee. It's good to see you. Dr. Ball, gotten a lot of information from you. Just did my first pass of Blood in My Eye a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, word, right on.
I appreciate that. My question is kind of broad, so I apologize if it's unspecific, a little general. I'm an actor, kind of been in the biz a little bit for a little while. Appreciate all the advice I've gotten from Mtume Gant just from watching the show. But I'm always coming against this sort of struggle to navigate this business, right, while holding a certain politic, a certain evolving, growing, revolutionary politic. You know what I mean? I even got dropped by an agent because of my stance on genocide. You know what I mean? And so I've already come across some of the consequence and cost of having a certain politic while navigating its business. So I guess my question is, for all of you, do you have any advice for the artists of the world in this moment, kind of how we navigate holding this politics, staying true to that, but also trying to live, trying to continue to do your art, trying to continue to push it to as many people as possible, you know what I mean, while not compromising yourself, compromising your values? Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
So that's a good. I'm gonna start because I'm probably gonna give the least good advice. But so it's probably Jared's fault too. But
It's always Jared's fault.
But I used, and I don't know if I still am, but I've been very, very hard on like artists, Black artists and entertainers. And sometimes it's because again, like this art for art's sake culture type shit. Like, and me and the comrade in Atlanta, we actually did so we've been having a struggle for a year around cultural work as a intentional engagement with your community, right? As opposed to just being an artist or entertainer. And I suggest you kind of look at some of the things she's been talking about lately. But after a long year of struggling between, these things, their art has become more intentionally political, but then they also like are talking to other people who are doing that too. So I think the best thing you have to do is get in, like start a culture work type group. So while you're doing whatever you're doing, being with other artists, I don't want to call it artists, other culture workers, and y'all like build together constantly. No matter what y'all doing, like y'all build together constantly. And I think you will, I think you'll be able to like be grounded in those spaces. Because I mean, I think you only in those spaces for, I guess, I don't know, say monetary reasons, but to survive,
I don't know that was bad advice.
That was great.
So
advice.
I mean, so the one of the many things that I've learned from Jared is that you cannot be rich, popular, and revolutionary, right? You have to give up one of those three things, right? So I unfortunately am going to have to advise that you pick which one you're willing to give up, right? And so once you make the decision in your head that, okay, this is the thing that I'm going to give up, you can probably more easily just pursue the other two because all three can't live at the same time. And so for me, and I don't even know what to call myself at this point, right? But it's never been about like being on stage. Like people who watch know I'm always behind the screen, and which has, it gives me the joy of being able to like be in my underwear and be on the show and no one cares because no one can see me, right? If I haven't like washed my face because I overslept, like no one cares. And so I have no interest. I really don't have an interest in being front and center for things, right? And so a big joke with stuff, even when I was organizing with CMB, is like stuff would happen and they'd be like, well, Renee, are you going to do it? And I'd be like, hell no, I'm not doing it. Somebody else do it. I don't need to sit up there. Let someone else do it. The goal is to get the information out. So whatever is going to allow the information to move forward, for somebody to walk away from the room being like, I had no idea that was a thing, but now I know it was a thing. Like, that's the thing that I care about. It doesn't need to be my face doing the thing. So this allows me some freedom to say what I want, right? And it's come with consequences, right? But I sleep well because I know that I'm on the right side of history in these situations, right? And so it's a tough situation, right? Because you're not going to get rich being revolutionary, period. It's not going to happen, right? So really, I would say those are the two things you have to pick between, right? Which is the thing you most want to pursue? Do you want the money and the fame, or do you want to stick with your politics? And that's the decision you have to make. And it's an unfortunate decision that you have to make, but that's the one that you're going to have to make.
I would only want to add that I don't think it's specific just to artists. I mean, this is a problem with anything we're doing. And we always have to make a choice of how much we want to push the envelope. And there's always consequences, not only at the job, but also socially. I mean, there's, I think just selfishly, there's a lot of things I wish I would be invited to be honest, but I don't get invited anymore just because of a political position. So you have to be willing to pick and choose, as Renee was saying. Yeah, I don't have any better advice than that. It's, but I just wanted to say that it's any field we're in. This is a series of questions we have to constantly come back to. How much am I willing to risk? How much do I want to be? What battle am I going to fight today? Yeah, so. Yeah.
I'm gonna say a version of what Geechee said, and then edify what Geechee said was really good advice. Honestly, get in political organization. You have talents. How could you use those talents within political organization? I also think political organizations need to think a bit more expansively about art in general, though, too. So there's a responsibility that needs to happen on that end as well. But I think the more we join political organization, we can help do that work. So I think kind of an extension of what Geechee was saying is get collective. There are other people who are with you. There's probably people who want to make that move out, but they're afraid because they don't know the other people to do it with, right? So then encourage, well, you know what, if you want out, look, I got dropped, well, and I'm actually happy. I shouldn't work with a dude. I actually blame myself. I worked with someone I should have never worked with. And the minute I found out they had these horrible politics, I should have been like out, right? And that was probably my last moment from being an actor. Be honest, this is years ago. It was like 13, 14 years ago, right? Someone was a Zionist, really terrible person. But yeah, like, get an organization and look, now we know each other. We should be talking. We're gonna talk after this. Yeah. So
since you're gonna be
comrades in back,
I have a request. Actually, I would like to see, and maybe we can start talking about it as a project. I would like to see more small, short form productions where people with your skill sets dramatize things that we talk about.
Yeah.
And depicted in, you know, even if it's a dramatization of a conversation like this in like a short form video, something that can go on IG or YouTube or whatever, and that would showcase your talents and skills, would represent a certain politic, boo, 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 boo. And then, you know, I don't know. It might not mean Ryan Coogler is going to call you for Creed 8, but you know, I don't know. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and no, but to add, I mean, the other thing is like a lot of those great artists, especially when you get out of the U.S. and you go to places like South America, like they were in political organization. The Third Cinema people, they were in organization, right? And they were doing stuff for that, and or inspired by it, or in aid of those movements, right? So it's something, and then or like look at like the Black Arts Movement. I mean, Ed Bullins was also, I think, for Harlem chapter, he was the Minister of Information, if I remember correctly. He was in Harlem chapter. He was in the of the Black Panther Party, right? Also working with being in the theater and writing. So it's like, you know, it's part of that. Larry Neal also, right? Larry Neal as well. So I mean, there is that history and that legacy. So I think it's been lost due to many things we can't get into right now. But it all goes back to what Geechee said at the beginning, right? Get organized, get into organization, make fronts and groups and legions with people with your politics, support each other emotionally through thought, be part of larger, broader political organization, and yeah, and then you'll find a path.
And listen, Tyler Perry's now a billionaire with a whole studio in Atlanta. I'm sure we could go down there and produce a whole. No, you know, it's not gonna happen. Oh, my bad. Baby Panther who makes films.
Wait.
Who?
A child of the Panther 21 who makes films. The youngest.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
You talking about Joseph?
Jamal Joseph?
Jamal Joseph?
He
don't make.
He was doing documentary. He's been in. Really?
I didn't know that.
You can look into that. Academia is a way to be safe and then try to do that. Even if these mini dramas that they're talking about. Because Jamal Joseph considers himself an artist.
Oh.
Did you? Todd is funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all caught that. Todd is funny.
There's another part about the your question, and so one, you could be working or doing something to get rich or whatever, or you could be like trying to survive, and just so happen like your politics as it develops, I don't know, it might make you give unrealistic thought around where you should be and how your art should be. And so there's always going to be like sites of struggle. And I think you should choose that, because even when you go into an organization, you could still be struggling and seeing some of the same things, and people like so it's really about choosing your side of struggle. And then again, back to that point, but having something charging that you can connect back to consistently.
So I think we ran the run sheet.
Somebody have?
Was there any last questions? And then before we're going to wrap the show, but I would like for folks to be introduced to some of the orgs that are in the room. So we'll ask them to come up so that they can tell you what they're up to. And then I think Yvonne, you got tapped to do the part for CMC, just so you know, like the space we're in and who's in the room to get information. So if you could bear with us once we close to get that info, we'd appreciate it. But we'll get the last question.
Thank y'all so much. This was very refreshing. This is my first time witnessing y'all podcast. I was actually just working out in Express Newark, and I saw y'all setting up.
Perfect.
This was beautiful. Y'all got a fan. And that being said, several questions that came up. One, you said, why are people watching TV while bombs are dropping? They were shopping while bombs were dropping. Capitalism is a child of racism. Like, racists didn't exist until 1686 with Bacon's Rebellion. So until we get to a point where we know that our melanin is worth $450 a gram, that's being traded on the market right now, and we know that we the bag, and we don't have to pay taxes that's doing genocide, because gentrification is a nice way of genocide with paperwork. My question to y'all is, I've been a part of movements since 2020. How close do you think are our comrades on the art side, which is the artivists, and then also on the professional side, willing to walk away from taxes, willing to stop paying the tiny hat people that own your neighborhood, willing to like really know that everything is taken care of, lodging, travel, and sustenance, because God does that for birds and fish in the sea, and that capitalism is a dream that they sold us. So how close do you think that the community is to stepping away from it?
Follow-up question real quick. So this tax boycott you're talking about, who or what is or would be organizing that? Because if you're gonna withhold the money, then what you gonna do?
So the thing about it, the IRS is a private organization that runs with the Treasury Department. They actually been bankrupt since 1999. So they are legally here. ICE should be at them. It's made up, we talk about Sweden, it's made up of 12 Federal Reserves of the Bank of BIS. So once you stop paying them and then they start bringing everybody to court or doing whatever, we can call them to contacts. Mitaku Yeo Yasin, I'm Aboriginal to this land. And it's a guy named Chief Pontiac out of Rod, his name is Rod Hayes. We're kicking the tiny hat people off, and they gotta pay reparation and atonement. So like, you gotta make a choice. I haven't paid taxes in over 8 years. I don't pay child support either, because they actually owe me. But you can't wait for reparations. You got to take reparations. So y'all seem like y'all are in the industry, but like, do you think people are afraid to do that?
See, well, I think the reason why I asked you that question is because sometimes we ask questions and we measure things according to other people. So like Jared taught me that when you're measuring your health of your economies through GDP, like you off. So I asked you that question because, and maybe some other people, the first thing I'm thinking of is like, you're asking, are people ready to organize around something? And then I ask you, like, who's leading that? Like, what's going to be happening? And then I mean, your answer was, yeah. My small answer would be, no. I like, how would they know? Who knows about?
Not only how people won't even say free Palestine. You expect them to stop paying taxes? Come on, man. Listen, what I love for everybody one day to just like be like, we're not doing this no more, and like let the whole system crash so that we could start something that actually makes sense and people don't have to do this like life of spinning on the cycle, you know, the rat on the hamster wheel that I always talk about. Yes, but the reality is people like their life. Like people like to be able to go to the movies. People like to be able to drink their lattes. People like to be able to go do whatever. And I say people, I am people, right? I also enjoy being able to do whatever random thing I decided I wanted to do. And I can't always do the random thing that I want to do, right? It's always within the limitations of what I have access to in that moment. But people are not listen, for all my problems with Linda Sarsour, like last week she was talking on Wednesday morning and she was like, the people just aren't angry enough. And I don't understand why. Like, why is everybody like okay with what's happening right now? Like no one's angry. And that's the problem. Right? Like in order for someone to actually be motivated to do something that's going to result in anything, they have to be sick enough of their own current situation. And most people don't even understand how trapped they are. Most people are like, oh, I got to get to work. I can't be late. I got to check. And they don't even understand that whole construct is set up for you to feel stressed to get somewhere else to do labor so you can give someone else money. You're not even the biggest people get based on how much it is. People aren't mad about that. It's wild, right? Like Jared talks all the time about like the trillionaires. Like you have all these people with all this money. It's like double now, right? You have like 1% of people who are worth double
1/10
what the 99% has. That's wild, right? But nobody's mad. Like they just want to get through the day. And I don't fault people for it because it's rough. You want to eat. You want to be under a roof when it's raining. You don't want to be cold. You want to be able to drive somewhere where you need to get to wherever you're going, right? People like comfort. And I include myself in people. That's not me separating myself from everyone else, right? And so I think the bigger problem that we have is that most people are really okay as long as they feel like they're not going to suffer, right? Like most people are all right watching other people suffering and saying, oh, that sucks. That's too bad that that thing happened. I'm so sad, but let me go get my latte. Like most people are really okay living that way. And I know it's rough, but this is the reality. So what I hope all the time, right, is that somebody will listen to my yammerings or Jared's talking or Mtume's reflections on all the things he's listened to, listen to Hiram say, go read a book, listen to Geechee talk about listen to Todd as he reflects on all the things, because Todd is like a living encyclopedia. If you don't know, it's the wildest thing I've ever seen, like all these things, and that somebody will walk off and be like, I hadn't actually considered how much I've allowed my own comfort to remove me from the suffering of other people.
Anybody grew up in a black church in here? A little bit. So there's hey, this is this song that is so cringe, and I don't even remember the name, but it's like it was like, thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me. It's like tragedy, commonplace, and it's all the bad shit, the diseases, whatever. But thank you, Lord, all you've done for me. And that song is so cringe, and that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, because in the end, it's all individualism.
It was why my students this week were telling me I was crazy for saying it's not enough for me to say I awakened today, and therefore I should be I should feel blessed or feel grateful was the word, that I just woke up today, and that was it. And I was like, that's it. I woke up. That's all I needed. Just quickly though, I think where I am today, in specifically this moment, I'm convinced that one, whether we pay taxes or they take them from us before we get our paycheck, that is not part of, that has less to do with what's going on than we're encouraged to believe. And that I don't think any of the imperialist war machine would slow, even if all of us stop paying taxes. As we saw during COVID, they could push a few buttons and create trillions of dollars and redistribute to themselves whenever they want. So that's one thing. The other thing is that I think that many of us, even with what Renee was just saying, we do have some deep desire for some improved world. And that's why so much of the media content that is projected and imposed on us is created. To take that so that they can say we've tapped into the moment and give us sinners and one battle after another. That's the point. They're tapping into a moment and then trying to pull the rug of radicalism from it so that we don't go anywhere. And then I forgot what I was going to say, so I'll just stop with that and pass the mic.
Well, maybe I'll say a couple of things and it'll joggle back. Yeah, I mean, to kind of pick up, I mean, I think the one thing that we do notice is, though, as you know, the totality of this kind of imperialist system that we live in continues to kind of, the contradictions, you know, begin to widen or get more aggressive. There's going to come a point where people can't ignore. I mean, climate change, all types of stuff. I think for the political people, we have to be better organized to pick up when they come and they're like, look, I don't get it. We're like, come here, I got something for you, right? You see this? I'm Cabral book, you know, this nice speech. Let's talk. Because I do agree, a lot of them, the contradictions haven't gotten rough enough for some people yet. But I'm sorry, there's going to come a point, like the way things are going with this imperialist class that we got up in here. No, you're not going to be able to ignore it, right? It's coming. And you've seen it happen. So we have to get stronger. The people who come towards us, we have to have a responsibility in helping them, right? And it'll grow and it'll grow and it'll grow because it's true. I've seen it. Like I've seen it anecdotally. People that I know who last year were like, "What?" And they're like, "You know, can you explain to me what's going on?" I'm like, "Sure."
In fact, I can.
In fact, I can. Or watch this. Watch Saturdays with Renee. You can get all of your information. So yeah,
you would have known a year ago that Jamal Bryant was on some nonsense if you were watching Saturdays with Renee.
If you actually knew Jamal Bryant.
That is one thing I did want to say. Like the first, that's true too. The what I was forgetting was that in this moment where I am today, I must admit, and I want to be responsible with this because I'm not advocating and I'm not doing it. But having been spending these last few months in John Brown literature and rereading George Jackson again, Blood in My Eye for my intro class. We were literally talking this week about what George Jackson was saying about the Vanguard, and that in reminding us that waiting for the perfect moment is a liberal tactic that permanently stops people from moving. And looking back on John Brown a little bit, it's that, you know, the feel, what terrifies me is the sacrifice part, the repressive reaction. But what I'm moved by is that what I get from George and John in their own ways is that they were saying we need small pockets of well-organized people to do something that interrupts the normal flow of what's happening. There is no waiting. There is not going to be a perfect moment when the masses are now ready and we can now blah, blah, blah. I don't think that at least as I sit here, I don't see. So what that is, who is doing what, I don't know. But I think we have to move in some pockets away from, we're not going to have 300 million Americans unified on some radical, we're not going to get to that point. We're not going to outproduce the empire's media and capture more people than they do. So what we have to do is capture a smaller amount, be more well organized, and then be willing to sacrifice. And it's terrifying, but that's the only thing I can think of when I honestly assess where we are, what might actually happen. So, but anyway, yeah, that was it. Thank you.
You got a last thought? Because it's almost 1:30. We got to start wrapping up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You good? Because I was going. You're gonna go. Yeah, we're not doing the whole other thing.
Yeah.
No. You sure? Last call.
Last call.
So I just want to, first of all, I just want to thank Renee, Geechee, Mtume, all of you, our Black Liberation Media crew, and on the Undefeated chat. Thank you all very much. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you, our hosts. Thank you all very much. And I know we want to hear from some of them, but I just wanted to get that out. Yeah.
And again, if you could just give us, we're going to let Jared end how we always end. You'll be happy to know that despite me not giving my husband the address fast enough, he did make it to the room. So thank you. Love you. And so, so we're going to wrap as Jared always does. I am so appreciative of people coming out, of people paying any mind to anything that I'm saying. I do hope sincerely that when you leave this room, you feel empowered to be brave. Right? Because that's the biggest minimum of an ask that I can do for somebody, is to ask them to be braver than they were when they walked in the room. So if you can do that, we'll figure it out.
All right. So as always, again, to the Undefeated chat and everybody else, thank you. As always, please like, share, subscribe, support the Patreon, do all those things. And as always, peace, only if you're willing to fight for it, as Fred Hampton used to say. And we will catch you next week with more Saturday with Renee.
Black Liberation Media is a collective of Black and African organizers, journalists, academics, and media personalities serving Black and African masses seeking to further grow in their understanding of themselves, their histories, and the African world through entertainment and news. Please continue to like, subscribe, and donate to the channel so we can further serve you and liberate our people. You can also go to blkliberationmedia.org, get some merchandise, and also become a Patreon member and a member from the YouTube. Please do what you can, share, and show your love as we will show ours for you. Black Liberation Media.